ever.
I will not resub if I'm going to be known as a creeper.
Hello, everybody!
Oh my God.
Welcome back to Wild Beyond the Witchlight D&D. Holy shit! It's been so long since we've seen y'all. Oh boy. We were having a great old conversation behind the scenes. But sorry we're a little late, everyone. We're just sort of catching up and making sure everyone's got the stuff that they needed for tonight's session. So good to see you. We haven't been on since we all went to Gen Con and had the most amazing time. It was great to see everyone almost here on the screen. Aiden, don't worry, just 2 years in a row.
Aiden, buddy, it's okay. Nobody's okay.
Can't do this a third time.
We're all going to be there for Convergence.
Yeah, I know.
And we're going to talk about that in a little minute as well. But yes, everyone, so good to see you. Thanks you so much for everyone that came to all of our panels and one-shots. It was amazing to see you all there. I unfortunately rolled very low on my con save and got COVID when I left Gen Con and hit literally every symptom on the ugly tree.
Wow.
So I got it pretty bad. So that's why our streams had to get kind of postponed for a couple of weeks, which, trust me, it was very hard not to want to do a goddamn game. But I needed to heal, and now we're pretty much all better. So thanks everyone for all the well wishes and everything. But we are back here to have hilarious, chaotic Feywild times with you all. But we're going to get a couple things off the bat real quick, as we always do here. First off, we're going to shout out our amazing sponsor, C4 Labs, everybody. They make TTRPG, little dice trays and other fun toys and stuff for all your D&D games and whatnot. They've been a big supporter of our channel since for almost a year now. So we love them. They love supporting independent TTRPG shows, and they make great products like that. They also have this awesome thing that I have yet to make a video of, but I'm going to very, very soon. It is a dice drawer apparatus to separate all of your click-clacks and all that jazz. Also available in the store right now. So thank you, C4 Labs, and use Dicecream or code Dicecream15 to get 15% off your next purchase. But following up from our little C4 Labs shout out, Quincy, you have a very exciting, awesome, brilliant event coming up soon. Why don't you chat about it?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, we have Convergence happening. The Convergence is coming next May at Evermore Park. Basically, we Quincy's Tavern and Evermore Park are combining, and for a special weekend, the first week in May, 2023, we are going to be doing kind of like a Quincy's Tavern D&D themed week at Evermore Park. So you can come by for the weekend, for the Friday, Saturday, come and I'll see us. Everyone here you see on screen is invited out, and hopefully we're going to try to make sure everyone is there for that. And if you want to spend extra more time with us, there is a VIP experience that is for a very limited amount of tickets, but the weekend, Friday, Saturday is open to everybody, and it's open for families, so please come to that one. But the Convergence.events has more information, and we are over a third sold on tickets for VIP, so we are really, really excited for that one. But yeah, the Convergence.events for more information. But there's an opportunity if you'd like to come out and see us at Evermore Park in Utah. We're all going to be there, so yeah.
Hell yeah, it's a D&D TikTok Disneyland, god damn it, and you should fucking go. Buy your ticket. I'm doing the hard sell right now. Get the VIP.
Everyone wants you.
Demand that there be a super VIP ticket that costs more money that you're willing to spend. Just start making up levels and give that man your money. Because I'm going to be one of the guest DMs for the VIP experience, along with a large collection of amazing DMs who will also be there from the D&D TikTok community and all over. It's going to be an amazing, amazing event. We're all so proud of what Quincy and Jason have been able to build for this event, and we're so happy to be a part of it, and it is going to be an incredible time. So head over. I think the website is just like, it's the Convergence.
Yeah. The Convergence.events right there. Right there. I think Joey got it. And it's, yeah.
There you go. In the chat, everyone. Go check it out. It's going to be an amazing time next May, right?
Next May, first week of May 2023.
There you go, everyone. Get your tickets now before it's sold out. All right, everyone. So with all that out of the way, it's been a minute, but I think it is time. So everyone, grab your favorite drinks, grab your favorite pairs of dice as we dive back into our wonderfully chaotic tale of Wild Beyond the Witchlight.
Ooh.
So, since we don't have an amazing, wonderful recap video by the wonderfully talented Jacqueline Chan, I will do my best to catch y'all's up. So, short pitch. The Feywild, it's in trouble. The grand savior of all the planes of the Feywild, Zybilna, has been captured, has been taken away from the seat of power by a coven of hags called the Hourglass Coven. These planes of the Feywild, in particular, Hither, Thither, and Yon, have been separated and split up between each of the hags, kind of controlling each of their own lands. And this party of chaotic craziness has been hired to free Zybilna, while also trying to ascertain and uncover mysteries about their past, connected also to the Feywild and the Hourglass Coven. And our heroes have done pretty good job so far. They discovered their first Hourglass Coven hag out in the swamplands where all the Bullywog Kingdom was situated. And you met your first hag there, covered in gross warts and dried frog skin. But you did not kill this hag. Instead, you decided to make a deal with her to go to the next hag and steal a portrait and bring it back to her. And upon getting into the new land, Hither, you found Loom Lurch, the hideout of the second hag, Scabbeth the Nightshade. And boy, howdy, did you bring the fight right away to this crazy wood puppeted old crone with a giant key in the back of her petticoat dress. Not only did you light Loom Lurch on fire, her hollowed out tree HQ, but you also took on a smoldering of baddies that she erected from this decrepit garden next to the hollowed out tree that included skeletons, that included Scabatha turning into a giant T-Rex. It was insanity. One of your party members, Lucifer, went down unconscious, almost died in a hellfire of a tag team battle that went inside of a globe of darkness fighting a goddamn T-Rex. I want fan art and I want it now. Yes, the globule of darkness, the darkness spell that Lucifer cast on his very silvery arrow dissipated. You saw Lucifer down and unconscious on the ground, and you chased after Scabatha, and landing the final blow was Arctreon, just stabbing at Scabatha with your glaive, point blank range, jumping at an amazing height, stabbing her into the ground, and thus releasing a few curses that Scabatha had laid upon the land. One in particular that was very important to Arctreon was that she was responsible for basically eradicating the Leonin race from the Feywild as a potential problem, which of course is Arctreon's lineage. And as Scabatha was murdered, put to rest, the skeletons that you had been fighting kind of pieced together and turned into Leonin, back into their former selves, and made Arctreon an honorary member of their tribe. As the rest of you kind of put out the massive fire that you had on Loom Lurch, you discovered the grounds a little bit, found a bunch of missing, not missing children, I should say, but how to put this in a PC way? The children with jobs was found in the Loom Lurch tree that were pretty much enslaved to Scabatha. And you found that the children, some of them had been there for many, many years, never aging, never growing up. Various children that had been captured through the Witchlight Carnival and other places used for Scabatha's workshop to mend toys and make clothing and stuff like that. You also met a very particularly hardy dwarven warrior by the name of Elkhorn, who claimed to be a part of this noble group of heroes called the Valor's Call, who has followed a group called the League of Malevolence, into the Feywild to start some evil deeds that they had some connection with the Hourglass Coven. They're working together on something. You're not too sure, but you did fight one of the members of the League of Malevolence, that assassin character that you found when you discovered one of the unicorns of the Wayward Pool. Lots of stuff went down, but we ended the session with everyone kind of hunkering down, Quincy making food for everybody. It looked like you were going to kind of take a long rest in the Loom Lurch itself before ferrying the kids over to a safe location that Elkhorn had told you about, sort of this grove that resides with nearby forest that's led by a treant called Little Oak. And the kids there are called the Getaway Gang, that Elkhorn was on a mission to kind of try to find his lost children and give them a safe place to be housed and try to free them from the clutches of Granny Nightshade. But as we were all settling down, as Quincy was handing out, serving bowls of delicious stew, and everyone was sitting down cross-legged, swapping stories, all of a sudden, a stick talked to Ebby. The crusty, crooked twig, piece of bark that Nightshade had that seemingly was able to control a shambling mound. Ebby picked it up and it started talking to them, requesting that he just keep doing it more. Just keep using the stick, keep trying to wake that shambling mound. You got it, buddy. After failing his first 2 saves, decided to do it a third time with a little flick in the wrist and a couple of high rolls. This sentient voice encouraged you to keep trying to make the shambling mound reanimate. And at this point, Archeron went to go look for you, opened up the door outside to a shambling mound going barreling towards Ebby. So, with all that out of the way, we pick up right at this very moment. So, I will ask Ebby, as you see the stick, this crooked, jagged stick, kind of glowing with this effervescent green energy, the shambling mound starting to come out of the disturbed dirt, looks at you. You're like, hey, I did it. Then you just hear these big, sudden footfalls as the ground in the garden around you start to vibrate as the shambling mound just stares at you, cocked its head, and its massive vines and vegetation starts running towards you. Archeron, you open that door and go, oh, what the fuck? Before the shambling mound is able to meet you, is there anything you wanted to do, Ebby, before the shambling mound basically tackles you?
Give me a second to roll for that.
Oh no.
Okay, it's not bad. Okay, so Abby clutches onto the stick even harder and be like, this doesn't seem friendly! And then he decides to shoot himself as high as he can fly. In a straight
Okay.
fire.
So you were going to shoot up into the sky. How far?
25 feet.
25 feet. Okay. Archeron, you also see a shambling mound going rumbling over to Ebby. What would you like to do?
Round 2!
What? What's happening?
And I'm already out the window. I'm already out the door.
Are you charging it?
Oh yeah, let's go.
Oh shit! All right. Well, roll initiative, Ebby and Archeon.
But before the fight, Abby wants to talk to the stick.
Okay, before the fight, you want to talk to the stick? Okay.
Yeah. So Abby Floppy is just like, I thought we were making friends. Is this not a friend?
It's whatever you'd like it to be.
I don't believe you. It can't become a cupcake.
Well, dreams are meant to be dreamt high, but you know, maybe not that.
Okay, well, I want to be a friend. I want to be a friend. I want to be a friend. And he starts like shaking the stick. Pleasantly like, sorry, I wanted to be a friend, and hugs the stick.
Then whisper,
Make him a friend!
then whisper a command, Fred.
Please stop running and looking menacing.
Make an Arcana check.
Okay, and you couldn't read the number. 11.
double digits.
What is your spell save DC? You should be able to go to like your spells list, and if you click one, it should say like spell save DC on it.
Or at the top of like your spells
That as well.
list.
Spell save 15.
15. Stop! Just stop right now and be our friend! Doesn't seem to respond.
Damn it. Oh no. But like, okay. I still think it could be a friend. Maybe just looks at it and sees Archer like, a friend! Oh wait, a friend. Oh.
Okay, so yeah, you gave it your best shot. Didn't seem to work. So I need Ebby and Arctreon to roll initiative. The rest of you can roll initiative as well, but you'll join on this on the second round, as they're the first people kind of in on the scene here.
Sounds
9.
15.
9, 15, okay.
I'm still gonna
14.
try and control it. I will make a friend out of this.
Arctreon, you got 15?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then Lucy, you got
14.
14, okay. Okay. Quincy?
1.
1! No!
The player comes last.
Moss.
16 on the die plus my initiative, 19.
Woo!
Damn.
But I'm staying put.
You're like, they
He
did
has
this
to
to
learn his
themselves.
lesson. I'm still trying to rock the little girl that I made cry. So I'm distracted.
That is correct. Okay, so we will start with Arctreon. What would you like to do?
Let's see. I got 45 feet of movement. So 45. I can make it just to where Ebby is. Right. Whoopsie daisies. Here.
Those are pumpkins, be careful.
Like that going through the tires.
You already blew up all the pumpkins. Remember with your call lightning last
Oh,
time? You were
sure.
like, "Ah!"
Vegetation doesn't exist.
Yeah, you exploded all of the poisonous snakes that were hiding in the pumpkin patch, and then you just eliminated the pumpkin patch. There's
Oh
all
my
just like dirt and
gosh.
charcoal.
That's true.
And because I can and because I want to.
Hey!
But I
Hey.
also get wild magic. So wild surge, excuse me. So 1d8.
So does this mean you are about to rage?
Yes.
Ray!
I don't know if you don't say it out loud.
Sorry.
Red light could mean anything.
Yay!
All right. I got 6. I don't think I've ever gotten 6 before. Until your rage ends, you are surrounded by multicolored protective lights. You gain 1+ bonus on your AC, and while within 10 feet of you, your allies gain the same bonus.
Ooh.
Hello.
Ebby
Cool.
shrinks 15 feet.
That is amazing.
Oh,
That's
yeah, because
savage.
you're 25 feet in the air.
My feet are tingling.
I'm in the orb with my foot.
One toe.
One, two. Oh my god!
The second
Okay.
you just touch the radius, you just start glowing. You're like, oh my god.
Oh, whoa.
So,
Yeah,
Ebby,
lightning,
you
yeah.
shoot up how many feet again?
25.
25? Okay, just making that note there. So you were out of the range of Archeron's sort of eldritch wild magic shape as you just see him run towards Shamley Mound. Boom, 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 boom. The chest gets a bit bigger. This sort of shady, like, tentacle essence starts to whiff off of him like black smoke drifting
tropical.
in the wind. You also see, Archeron, a particular unicorn, Gilladon, who's still outside, just like trotting towards the door and be like, what? What is that? Fighting this thing?
Run inside! As I'm like running past.
This unicorn, the Gilladon, is just like running right past you. Okay. Oh no, that was the ethereal unicorn. That Abby, I
It
think
technically goes away in 1 turn from how much time it's been.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay. So
And I think I don't think I could ready an attack after that, right? That was already the bonus action rage. So
yeah, so you used your did you dash to get that far, or that was your full movement?
no, it was full movement.
Okay, so you
Range
used
attack.
use that, use your bonus action to rage. You still have an action, so you could hold your action if it comes near you.
Yeah, I'll do that.
So hold an action come near you. Okie
Yep.
dokie. And then Abby, you got a 9 for your initiative, yeah?
Yeah.
Yep, so you are next.
Aha. Okay. So now.
Yeah, so it's your turn now. So you could either try to use the stick again, or you could try to rock it down. As you're trying to floating up there, the sentient stick kind of talks to you. It's like, oh, that was too bad, man. You might as well just try again. Just get at it.
Okay. Evie's like having a whole bunch of conflicting emotions that are very sensitive inside of him at this time. So he's like, his heart's really passionate in his plea for this thing to become friendly. And just same thing again.
All right, make me an Arcana check.
21.
Was your command?
The command was to stop and to become friends with everyone.
So you race down again as Abby kind of flies up the beautiful coloration array of the peacock feathers, Archeon, above you. You just see him shouting at this gnarled bark stick, like, just stop and be our friend! Just be our friend, please!
No, don't listen to him. Don't do it. Come here.
But as you say that, and getting a 21 on your Arcana check.
Oh,
A shambling mound. Archeon, you got your axe out, you're pumped up, your pecs are just dilating as you're just waiting for this thing to rush. You're like, come on, and it just stops dead in its tracks, leans forward a little bit, and sits on its butt.
Fine, make it easier for me.
Shut up! No! And Evie goes down.
Abby, you fly down right next to Archeon as Archeon's about to lift up the double-headed axe.
Stop.
Now I have to stop.
Feathered hand.
There's chicken over there.
Axe is getting heavier.
I'm
Can't
not the
stop
chicken.
myself from slashing creature.
Abby, you're
You're
gonna
like-
stop him?
I am stopping him. He
All right.
walks towards it, pushes him back.
So this is important. Archeon, are you trying? Are you gonna let Abby tell
I'm
you
just
stop?
jokingly slow. Like
You're
slowly
jokingly doing it.
lowering
Okay,
Yeah,
I'm gonna have you roll contested strength checks to see if he stops the axe from going down.
I'd be like,
Oh,
come on, hey.
Honestly, right?
So, Abby, you fly down, sort of get in
Yeah.
front of the double axe
Yeah.
from Archeon. He's like, wait. And
What?
a scrambling mound, almost in this like golden retriever, Labrador sort of energy, is just this giant mound of vines and vegetation. It's just.
What did you do to it?
So, Evie, you have used one of 3 charges of the Dominate Monster spell.
Oh.
Do the
Oh,
charges
this-
come back?
This, there's only 3, and that's it. So now you have 2 left. After that, the whatever arcane sentient mind in this thing that's raging on, your connection with it appears to only be able to be used maybe like 2 more times, and then that'll be
Interesting.
Does that also include just being like, since it's like our friend, I can suggest it to follow with us?
So you could try. Dominate Monster kind of, it's more, how am I going to describe this? Dominate Monster is more actions like stop, lie down, go over there, go over here. You can kind of like command it a bit to do basic things. Being your friend, though, that might have to do some convincing on your part emotionally. But like
So
anything in
can't
our
feel
Feywild chaotic story, you can certainly try.
Yeah, like opening a box 18 times.
Okay, so I'm not chopping this thing up like salad.
No, you won't. You don't like salad.
Fine.
I think in the
shake
back-
off my rage was like,
In the background, you hear Moss being like, "There's seconds ready" of the soup that Quincy made.
Our shoulder sounds like a shiver down his spine.
I just like
shake the rage off.
just like throw the axe over the shoulder. Fine.
Archeron, you're gonna go back to the kitchen.
Yeah, I'm gonna go.
Okay, Evie, you've got your shambling mound in front of you. What do you want to do?
Abby's just star-eyed staring at it, not sure what to do. It's just like this. The whole
Sit,
time.
boo boo, sit.
Just enjoying this
Yeah.
presence right now. Like totally lost in awe that this actually worked.
Did you want to speak with it?
He will, just not yet.
Okay,
He's still very, very
you just
in the moment.
having a good time. Okay, well, we'll cut over to the other members of the gang in the kitchen. The sun is starting to set. Nighttime is coming upon you. Quincy, you doled out your famous sort of batch of stew. I will also remind you about the portrait mirror room that you had also discovered in Loomler in the last session, where you saw reflections of these portraits kind of react to you, showing you very valuable and lovable members of your past. So you're kind of like sort of gestating that and what that could all mean. But you did find the portrait room if you wanted to make good on your deal with Bavlorna Brightstraw. That is where those portraits are.
True.
And-
So
I was like looking through my notes. I didn't write down specifically what portrait we were supposed to steal. I forgot.
It was her specifically, her own portrait.
Her own portrait. Cool.
Yeah.
So
you.
I'll walk back in there, and maybe if Moss and kind of mention to Moss and kind of be like, the portrait room is this way.
Portrait
that way
room. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'll follow.
And so go in there. Do we see Bev Warner's picture?
Yeah, they're all up there. So there were various portraits of the Hag family. And there were even a couple members of the Hag family that one you did recognize as Tasha, very famous arcane witch. The other one, you weren't too sure. It was a very disturbing, kind of almost like the grossest looking out of all of the hags, was Baba Yaga.
Yeah,
Was kind of like if there was a totem pole of hags, would be at the top.
she's the queen of like the witches and everything.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
Very nasty individual in the Feywild. But let me just go over to this.
So I'll look to Moss and be like, well, we technically killed one of the hags. We could still take Bevlona's picture back to her and still try to make do in the deal, but then we don't know if she knows that we know that she knows that her sister's dead.
I don't know who else would contact her because I believe Charm was killed by Bevlorna. So I don't know who
True.
would tattle, but at the same time,
Wait,
didn't she
the shadow.
herself- What?
Is that Cheide anywhere around? I would presume not, but I want to look around and be like,
That's right, the shadow. Because when we were starting the fight, oh god.
yeah.
Make me a perception check.
Oh my gosh, I don't know if this is possible. Yeah, this is only 14.
Perception?
Mm-hmm.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. So yeah, looking around the room, like I said, you see the multiple portraits in front of you, covered in barbs and thorns all over the inside of this hollowed out tree. But you're looking around, there's sort of shadows all around. So like right, Quincy, when you have that thought, you're like, holy fuck, it could be anywhere. Holy shit, it could be anywhere. It's literally shadow, and you're in a dark, shadowed room with just like firelight kind of lighting up very like nooks and crannies. So the two of you kind of like go back to back, and you just start staring at various dark corners of the room, anything where a shadow might pop out at you or kind of turn around a corner, but you don't catch anything moving in any strange ways. You just have kind of hair standing in the back of your head.
Does
Okay, 'cause
Elizabeth
I
notice
was-
them doing this weird stuff?
I was gonna cast Create Bonfire and see if I could.
Light it on fire again.
More,
That's
more
the answer
arson.
to everything.
Arson.
But sorry, Danny, you had your hand up? Or no?
Oh,
me?
yeah, no, I was asking
Oh.
if Lucifer noticed them doing this weird back-to-back search.
They're in a
Like-
different room. So on the map here,
Are we not on the
um,
kitchen?
where I had you guys.
Oh,
so no,
sorry.
there-
Oh, we
the
I
portrait
moved.
room is
Yeah,
over
sorry. We're over
there.
Oh, they're in there. Cool.
Yeah. So you wouldn't have seen that necessarily, but Arctreon.
I have a question. So
Yes.
I took this without permission last time we saw the unicorn. Remember that glowing stuff that was like that summoned the unicorn that glows all the time?
The embers in the
Yeah,
cauldron.
I took some of those embers and I have it in a lantern. And I'm just using it for light. Can I walk into the room with that? Or is it still emanating light?
The embers. So yeah, the cauldron was on fire.
Mhm.
You had put your hand through it and it had no heat, and then you took some of the coals and just put it into a lantern,
Yes.
and it was still kind of flaming.
Yeah, I just kept the little lantern. It's always kind of been with me.
Yeah. So you go and take the lantern out,
Mhm.
and you're gonna kind of like go to where Quincy and
Yep.
them are. and see.
Curiosity. Yep, just
Okay.
curiosity.
Go over to the portrait room. As you kind of go into the portrait room, you kind of just hear a bit of like a little bit of a yipe from like them realizing like there's nothing might still be
Oh,
here.
wait, hold
Like,
on.
where the fuck is it? Where the fuck is it? And then he's getting a
Like I can just picture like us just like really looking into like the crevices of this room, and then like there's like Arctreon just like with like the light underneath his face. Hey guys, what are you doing?
Hi.
Ah!
Yeah, just like from the darkness, like, what are you guys doing?
No! Oh gosh!
I,
Oh my god!
I have a light with me. I brought a light with me. Sorry.
Hi.
Put the look that shade, that shade, Bavlor Charm shade, it is here somewhere.
The shadow.
The shadow.
It's a shadow. It's a moving shadow. We went Bavlorna's, and there was this witch there who had a shadow that was like separated from her, and the witch is dead, but the shadow's still alive. The shadow told on us, and that's why this hag started to kill us. So the shadow's still here somewhere. If you see a shadow move, hit it.
Okay. So I start like kind of shifting around the room.
Okay.
And I'm gonna
So
like jokingly make a little hand puppet, like, oh, look out! Oh.
Arctreon.
What?
Oh. I
okay,
wanna go
so
upstairs.
the light that kind of comes out from the lantern is more of a whiter hue, kind of like like the tube light that you would see like in an office building. Like it gives us this very like effervescent, like very intense white light shining out of it, even though the flame and the ember are like an orange and a red. So it's kind of this weird mix of an arcane combination that like the effect of the light is different from the hue of the flame, which is interesting. So you start to take the light of the lantern around, and it literally, wherever the spotlight of the lantern goes to, it immediately eliminates the shadows entirely. Like it erases them from the room, giving you a bit of an idea as to what this magical light can do. Basically, it can help you peer within a bit of a cone radius through magical darkness. So if you are in a position where like the darkness spell is on you, or you go down into an area where like, dark vision isn't applicable, this thing will give you a range of about 15-foot cone of dim light.
Okay.
So can't like light up an entire room, but at least you can be able to see about like 15 feet or so in front of you.
I want to check upstairs.
All right. let's
Does
split
anyone
up
want to
and
go
look
with
for
me?
clues.
No, don't leave me alone.
Yeah.
the last time I saw the shade, I was alone, and I felt insane for telling Quincy, because I'm like, no, there was something here, and it was gone. We're pairing up. I need an accountability buddy.
All right, Shaggy, Scooby, you go.
I think that's like, as you guys are searching and everything, I probably am starting to not listen, like, and kind of as I'm like not listen anymore to what you guys are saying, and start to look at the portrait that had like the changing faces and everything. So I'm kind of like looking at everything, half looking for the shadow now, but my eye catches the portrait again, and I'm kind of just staring at it. What am I seeing again?
So you're doing this with the intention of trying to see if the shadow's around?
No, as I was, my eyes catch the portrait that
Oh,
showed
gotcha.
the faces of people that I knew, and I kind of want to see that again. Does it come back? Do I see the people that I remember or that I once knew in that portrait again?
Yeah. So as you kind of do a bit of a double take, as Archeon and Moss are kind of trying to discover and look for the shadow, kind of looking the lantern around. Moss, you start going upstairs.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
And I'm
So-
actually going to take a quick, swift circle of the room, and then I'm going to follow behind Moss.
Woo.
All right. So I will let you have a perception check at advantage, which is also an ability of the lantern. So
Yes.
whoever wields it gets advantage on perception checks, and 15 feet cone of dim light that can see through magical darkness.
And it's just Arctron that has the advantage. I roll flat.
Yes, it's whoever's
Cool, that's
holding the lantern gets it.
Yeah, that's fine.
It can see through magical darkness. Can it see through my darkness cast?
Yeah.
We can
It
use
could.
that to our advantage in the future.
I only
Yeah, I
got a
could have
9.
used that probably last session. That would have been great. For the smoke and darkness.
But
Yeah,
as you're
near-death
rolling that, so
experiences.
Quincy, you kind of look at the corner of your eye at some of these portraits, and once again, yeah, each portrait magically animates to create the impression that the subject is looking around and shifting uncontrollably. But the animation has the quality of an old movie. The moving images are
Sure.
silent.
Sure.
But you do see the four closest people that you would call family members of your tribe, of your bond.
And it's like contained in this frame.
Mm-hmm.
How big is the frame?
The frame, let me see here. They're fairly large. Kind of like if you went over like the sort of stereotypical
Kinda like a
self-portrait
large
of
kind
like the billionaire above
Yeah.
the fire mantle. So like a good like
Like
five,
an almost
4 or
full
5
body
feet.
mirror
Yeah.
type situation. Okay. And you said there were like brambles all around it. Are they still there?
Yes.
I want to start hacking away carefully, taking my time, but I want to start hacking away the brambles specifically around this portrait. I want to try to get to it.
Okay.
I'm kind of like not caring about the other portraits at the moment because in my mind, Bevlorna's mission is kind of null and void at the moment. So I want to get this. There's something interesting about this one.
Okay.
So, however long it takes or whatever it is, I'm going to start taking my time and cut the brambles away with my daggers.
Okay, sure. Yeah, make me a dexterity saving throw.
Sure. A 2.
Okie dokie.
Get there.
So you start to get rid of some of the bramble using whatever weapons you have at your disposal to kind of hack and slash and make a bit more of a clear path. But some of the brambles do kind of scratch in your arms,
Okay.
kind of catch your legs a little bit. So just like 5 points of piercing damage
Sure.
that kind of scratch and scrap your skin over the course.
Kind of like
few
as I
minutes.
get that, I'm starting to get scratched. I'm like, I deserve this. I deserve this. Fine. It's fine. Because like as I'm looking at the portrait and everything, it is kind of like a little bit of like a mixture of almost a sorrowful punishment to himself for the
Mhm.
people that he sees there.
Yeah.
Based on things that have happened. So
Wait, are you going after the portrait that has your sister?
yeah, the portrait that kind of like shifted and changed to people that like I knew. So that's what I'm going after.
Okay. So yeah, it takes just a few minutes, but
Mhm.
you are able to grab that portrait.
The Arcana check on it, is it attached to the paper itself or is it attached to the frame in its entirety?
The moving image.
Yes.
So the moving image is on some sort of parchment, on some sort of material.
Okay.
It is attached to the frame, but if you wanted to try to cut out the portrait,
I wanna check. I'm worried that if I cut it from its frame, I lose the picture. So I want to do a check and see if it like Arcana would I know that if I took the picture from its frame, would it go blank?
Okay, roll a Arcana check.
Come on. Dirty 20, 17 plus 3.
So yeah, as you kind of look over the edge of the frame, it does appear to have some very ornate designs on it. Some of the material, like the gold finish painting, it has a little bit of glittery essence to it. It does give off a bit of a vibe, like a bit of an energy coming off of the edge of the frame. So yeah, suffice to say, the frame is kind of holding in the sort of enchanting of these images. So if you did cut it out, it could just go back to Bavlorna or maybe blank altogether.
Sure. Okay, so I'll take the portrait. I won't cut it out. I'll take it, and then I'll set it down away from the brambles, kind of in a position where I can kind of just look around it, look beside it. And I want to kind of call out to Lucy and be like, and kind of wave you into the room that I'm in and be like, Lucy, come here. Look at this painting. What do you see? Because it might be very different from what I'm seeing.
Because Quincy's, you're seeing our team on it?
I'm seeing something, but I want to know what someone else sees. So
what do I see, DM?
So as you look into the portrait, you're seeing Bavlorna Blightstraw, the toad-like hag that you had fought and decided to become friends with at the start of your adventure. And as you slowly kind of look at the portrait, you just see it start to morph ever so slightly, and the other portraits start to morph as well into what you would consider the 4 closest members of your family. Either immediate family, like literal family to you, or chosen family. 4 members of the closest members of your life.
Okay. So Lucifer just like clears his throat real quick because he's not good at the sharing emotions. And he goes,
You don't need to tell
I-
me, but I see.
you lot.
Oh,
He's just like hiding like goosebumps that he's got on his forearms and just.
you see us.
I don't know what that
Oh.
means, but yes.
Well, Lucifer. That's wonderful. That's very heartwarming. Thank you for sharing that.
What does it mean? I don't.
I don't. Apparently, from what I can tell, this painting shows the people that matter to us most.
He's just like.
That's great. That's fine. Cool. Yeah, that's awesome, dude.
Stupid. Emotions.
Lucifer just like has a passing thought of like.
It's gonna go over there.
Lucifer thinks as a passing thought of like, I can save my toughness if I just burn the portrait, just burn it, and he's
Don't.
like,
No.
no, it's just a passing thought. He's just like, neat. And he just like walks around the room looking at the other things and pretending he doesn't care.
So, as Lucifer kind of does that, I'm still looking at the portrait, and I didn't tell you that it's not. I don't see the same thing you do, because I don't want to hurt your feelings. Also, but also just like,
Okay,
interesting.
different upbringings.
Oh my god.
Daddy issues.
I want when it circles back around to this moon elf sorcerer dressed in gold and purple and shoulder length hair that is like cyan and has wisps of silver in it. When it kind of gets back to that, I almost instinctively touch the painting again. Does anything happen?
Going over and touching the painting,
Yes.
the ripples of the image, almost like you're putting your pinky into a still body of water. You kind of go up to the painting and touch it, and this boink, this ripple effect kind of happens. But the image just stays there.
I kind of look at it And as I remember the visage of this elven sorcerer, I see like in her hand a deck of cards, and I remember that same deck of cards is in waffles, like buried deep down in waffles. And so I'll kind of like open up my pouch and pull out a deck of tarot cards and kind of look at it. And I don't know, Lucifer, if you're watching Quincy or whatever, you kind of
He's still
see
paying attention to what's going on. He's just pretending to not care, but he's paying attention.
you see Quincy kind of pull out this 78 deck of cards and just kind of hold them. And then he walks out. He walks out of the room. He just doesn't say anything. He walks out and almost like past everyone from the kitchen, past everything out, and walks outside. And if he sees Ebby talking to a stick, he walks past Ebby and doesn't even give him
Lucifer being old friends with Quincy sees this behavior and just knows that's very uncharacteristic of Quincy. So still pretending that he has no cares in the world, is just like, and just wanders very like Shaggy from Scooby-Doo after Quincy. Like, nothing to see here.
Scooby-Dooby-Doo.
Where are you?
We need some work to do. Okay. So we'll go from there over to Moss and Archeon. Going back up the stairs towards this area. Which I just got to find the thing. Up to Granny Nightshade's bedroom. So I'll give because I think you've discovered pretty much all these rooms already, but I'll just re-describe it. So almost everything in his bedroom is orderly, from the bed with the patchwork quilt to the ornamental pigs arranged in a neat row on the dresser. Such tidiness is at odds, however, with the decaying dollhouse sitting on the bedside table. This 3-foot-tall edifice has seen better days and is now besmirched by peeling paint, mold, and rot. Behind the dollhouse, by the window, moths flutter inside a large bell jar. Facing one along the outer wall are a pair of doors. Next to the door closet, to the staircase, is a wooden rocking cradle with a neatly folded blanket in it. So actually, I don't think you have been in this room yet.
No, we
that
haven't.
sounds
Nobody has gone
very new
upstairs
and
yet.
creepy. Very new
Uh-uh.
and creepy.
So yeah, you my mistake. Yeah, I was like reading this and like, oh shit, nope, they have not been in here yet. So yeah, you are both walking up into Granny Nightshade's bedroom.
Okay, I don't know about you, but it is creepy in here.
I don't want to spend any more time than we have to up here. Just shine the light, see if the shadow thing is here. And it's an animated shadow. I know Quincy was like in a flurry before, but this is a shadow that's detached from a person. That person was eliminated, but the shadow, because it wasn't a part of the person, may still be animated. And we actually saw it before our battle. She's working for Nightshade, and she may be a tattletale to us killing Nightshade to Bevlorna. So,
Okay, so how do we kill this thing?
I saw Charm get burned alive, and I'm thinking with like the spectral and like spiritual light that you have, potentially it may singe her, but I actually don't know how to stop it.
So it beats like a saber of light.
Like a lightsaber. Okay.
Yes. Just
I'm gonna like
I'll be honest, those like my cat reflexes to knock all of those pigs ever so slowly off the shelf is killing me. But
I mean, you can do that. I'm gonna check the closet over Mya.
okay.
Okay.
I'm just gonna be surveying the room looking for.
All right. So make a perception check with advantage, Archeon. And Moss, you're gonna go into the closet over here.
The bottom closet, yes.
Okay. Opening the door.
Yes.
Okay.
D&D, the worst enemy is the door.
All right. So opening the door here. Sorry, what'd you roll for investigation?
It was sideways. 13 on the die plus 5, 18.
18. Okay, Archeon.
I rolled a 17 for the first one, rolled the second one, got an at 20.
Hey!
Yes!
Okay, so as these two things are kind of happening simultaneously, God, I love this group.
Oh God!
Can I seduce the door?
With loving arms, I seduce the door. Moss, as you're walking over to the closet door,
You do that.
Archeon, with your lamp, sort of surveying the area, you kind of look over to the entrance towards the bedroom, and you see deep black footprints going up from the stairs and going over to the bed, stopping at the dollhouse, and then making its way over to a window that you see is open ajar.
Archeon, what you looking at?
See footprints, but they lead out of this window.
Footprints.
They're
Oh my-
dark.
And as the light kind of exits from whatever area it's being shone on, the footprints disappear. It's only visible within this light.
Oh, you know what? It was actually really good. You stole that. So I apologize for saying don't steal it. I'm
Chaotic
so glad you
good.
did.
And as you say that, kind of looking over your shoulder as you open up the closet
Oh no!
in front of you,
Uh-oh.
Ugh! Mannequin, don't even.
Aw,
Ah, shit.
mannequins are bad.
Shit.
And it wasn't Abby.
so you don't see the mannequin, but you open up the closet door and what almost looks like very thick, ornate cobwebs sewn in tightly all over this open area. Kind of takes you aback a bit as you look over, see all this woven spider web, and then a series of moths fly out from the closet. You're like, oh, it kind of startles you for a bit, kind of cough and wave your hand in front of your face. But then through that intricate cobwebs, you see a face. You see a body. And it's one that's familiar to you.
Uh-oh.
With a pig-like mask over the front of her face,
Oh.
wearing a petticoat down from her midriff to her legs. This
The little girl.
looks to be the little girl that you saw way back in the Witchlight Carnival that poked in through the two-way mirror and then disappeared back into the Feywild. And as soon as you kind of like looking in, you kind of put your head in closer to be like, am I seeing what I think I'm seeing? And then all of a sudden the eyes wake up, blood red, and jumps out at you, and it's making a surprise tech at you.
Oh, demon baby!
Oh, frick!
And I am going to make an attack on you real quick.
Oh.
Yep.
The icon is eating somebody's leg. Oh my god.
Oh my gosh.
And the yo,
Don't even.
yo,
No!
nat ones,
Oh!
double nat ones.
Whenever you move your camera, I get so scared.
I know.
My favorite part of my streaming style, but not when that shit happens.
Oh man.
Holy shit. Okay, fine. World, just do this. Okay, so
With that fail, when she lunges at me, can I just like kick back and use my hind legs to kick her off?
you definitely do, as this skin of the small woman, the flesh just becomes dark and gray, almost like a change happens instantly as she lunges at you. But you are able to grab like her shoulders, and you just do this roll and just kick her up over to the bed, and the body goes bam, smashes into the bed frame. She'll take 2 points of bludgeoning damage for that. For Archeon, as you're kind of like wandering over to the window, you just hear this and this body smash against the headboard.
Alright.
I need both of you to roll initiative.
Nice. With the skin changing, is it is it the shadow in disguise, or is it like a different entity?
This looks like something else entirely.
Okay.
I think I've summarized the shadow left.
Yeah, it looked like the shadow
area, but we haven't
went over to
vocalized
that dollhouse
Yeah.
for a minute and then went over to the window.
Okay,
Same
I think
time, it's a shadow, so I was thinking like if it went over and then like climbed the walls like as a shadow.
Oh yeah,
I was
it
thinking,
could
like,
still be anywhere, but that's just
Yeah,
what
yeah.
you've seen.
Cool,
Yeah.
thank you.
Moss, what'd you get?
18 plus 3, 21.
Woo!
These are nice dice, guys. These are
Hell
the ones
yeah.
that smell good.
Oh, the smelly dice!
Yeah.
What do they smell like again?
Mine is like fresh linen. It was a gift
Ooh.
from someone at Gen Con the last day. They're like, "Hey, I have dice for you." I'm like, "Oh!" And then I hugged him.
Oh, did you get the amber ones? The fire ones?
No, it's just
Hell
like the
yeah.
white ones.
Oh, the ones
Oh,
that
you-
Lucy
yeah.
got had to fire. That's awesome. Archeron, what'd you get?
10. 10, because mine smell like Doritos and sweat. That's why. Okay. I don't smell like
Okay.
fresh linen.
That is the Shea Aiden essence of wetness. new scent from Shea Aiden.
Wet
Ooh.
Doritos.
Okay, Moss, you are good to go. What would you like to do?
Okay, so after knocking it off of me, okay, so that's. Oh yay, it's still within distance. Okay, I think I'm gonna definitely take an attack with my glaive,
Okay.
and try and like pierce it to the wall to kind of like, well, just like pierce it.
Hell yeah.
Trying to trap it. Okay. You're rolling well for me. Keep doing it. Let's see. Glaive. Oh, that's one. 13 to hit.
13 just hits. Roll damage.
Sweet. Okay. 9 damage. 9 piercing damage.
9 piercing damage. Okay.
And then I'm going to take a second attack. And just kind of like
yeah.
continue to stab into it. I think Lucifer was the one that saw this. Ooh, 6 to hit.
That'll miss, unfortunately.
Okay, so I pull it out and then I try for it again, but then I just miss under their armpit. This is a new entity to me, so I'm like, kill it!
Yeah, like, oh god, kill him, fire! Kind of stab it in their shoulder. It's the mouth of the little girl that's usually like this. Goes, it like opens up, like part of the jaw just unhinges and goes out really wide.
Demigorgon.
It's like mucus and spit kind of go on the fur of your tabaxi face. Like, oh god!
Okay.
But with that, the ghoul gets to go. So
Oh, gross.
this is going to be an attack with claws.
Okay.
Oh, not great.
14 to hit.
Just misses.
Damn it. Okay.
Hit.
So it goes on as you like take your glaive, correct?
Correct. Yes.
Yeah, so glaive, and you got pierced in the corner with your shoulder onto the wall, and it just goes up, and you see its like fingers start to elongate, and sharp claws comes out of her hand, just like reaching and trying to strike you, but you're holding it back with the glaive, like help! But
Archeon, I can use some help here.
so your go, Archeon.
As I'm like looking out the window, like, hey, I think there's shadow left. Oh my god! And yeah, so as she's trying to stab it, I like unhinge the my great axe, and I will step right there.
Okay.
I'm gonna make an attack. 15.
15 will hit. Roll damage. You guys are hilarious. You're just finding all of the creepy crawly.
I know. I know. 7.
I'm just trying to find a longbow.
Hell yeah.
7. But I will also take another attack because I have 2 attacks.
Abby can make a friend.
What was the damage on the first one?
7, excuse me. Sorry.
7,
Wow, I had to
yeah.
dig with that one out of the brain.
Yeah.
And then it was 15 to hit again.
Yeah, that'll hit.
And 8.
8.
So I get 2 attacks.
How do you want to do this?
Oh, okay. This is gonna be cool. This is gonna be cool. As Moss stabs into the wall and misses, I'm like, duck! And Moss ducks, and I follow the path of her glaive with my axe. Sparks go flying and it goes right through its head. Like right like head chop. Like I guided it. Yeah. Oh yeah, I guided it off the glaive. It's just like done.
Yeah, Moss, as you've got the glaive stuck in their shoulder, saying, Archeon, alley-oop! Just able to spark their blade off of the hilt of your glaive as sparks kind of fly off in all directions and just halfway enclaved into the head of the ghoul. Archeon, you try to take the double axe off the head.
Get in there.
I'll help you. I'll help you.
Oh, thank you. Sorry, put it in there.
Half the head just flies off and just bang, 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 hits onto the corner. Blood from the ghoul and a dark purple coloration smatters all over the bed and on the hardwood floors and all over the walls.
I will not be eating that.
Yeah, I don't think.
The blade of my axe, I'm like,
no, stop. I want to do an Arcana check on the dollhouse, and I don't know if it's like a similar check on the child. I know that Granny Nightshade would use not corrupted, trapped children's souls, and I want to know if there's anything I can do to like have this soul be at peace, or if it's already just too far gone.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, roll. Well, you can roll medicine check on the ghoul,
Okay.
and you can do an Arcana check on the house as well.
Great.
I'm just in the corner poking it. I'm just
Okay. Medicine check was a 13, and then you want one at a time.
Yeah.
Okay. Medicine check was 13, and then the blue one, Arcana, you said?
Mm-hmm.
11.
11. So with the dollhouse, it does seem to have some sort of arcane vibes going on with it.
Yeah.
Like you don't really know any details or what this is. There seems to be some kind of arcane lock situated around the top of the roof of the dollhouse, which means you're not able to open it by conventional means. You basically need a knock spell or something similar to be able to unlock the top of the dollhouse.
Like dispel magic?
That could work too.
I wonder if Quincy has that. Or Ebby. Okay. And then the body?
And the body, yeah. The body, this doesn't appear to be like one of the missing children.
Okay.
This was an undead, creepy entity under the control of Granny Nightshade. So not anything worth saving necessarily.
I was about to ask. I'm like, I think we might have messed up.
No. I was thinking.
They leave you for 2 seconds, like, we're just gonna go upstairs and look for something. We killed the kid! Oh god!
Running down like traumatized. Yeah.
The worst is Quincy can hear all of this.
Yeah, you're just downstairs. So for Lucy and Quincy, as you're going downstairs and trying to take the portrait off the
I wasn't
wall.
out there. I left. So Lucy's the only
Oh,
one.
okay.
I left the
Sorry.
building.
So Lucy,
Oh.
you hear us slightly panicking. Is it a kid? No, it's a ghoul.
That's what I wanted to ask because I had mentioned that I was walking outside, just like giving Quincy his space, but just like curious as to what was going on with his friend. So I wanted to ask if I had exited or if I had not exited.
Yeah, so you kind of like were making your way outside, but you just kind of heard muffled, loud voices kind of coming from the attic of the house as you're kind of walking outside. You're saying, "Oh no, it's a kid! I'm not coming! No, it's fine." You're like, they're fine.
Cat stuff.
Yeah.
Those crazy
Ugly.
kids.
Probably talking about fur balls.
But
The
while
tree house is rocking. Don't come a knocking.
While all this is going on, what is Ebby up to?
So, quick question. Quick question: is a shambling a beast?
Let me see. Shambling Mound is a large plant.
Large plant.
Quincy,
Okay.
if you were there, just like our hair is all tufted.
I come to give you water bottles. Well, there you go.
Gatorade and peanuts, okay?
Lucifer had it on the way out. He was just like, nice.
I have the spray bottle this time. It's bad. Bad.
So for you, Ebby, so the Dominate Monster spell, just so you're aware, it's basically like you're charming someone with a telepathic link. As long as the two of you are in the same plane of existence. You can issue commands to the creature while you are conscious, which it does its best to obey. So you can specify a simple and general course of action, such as attack that creature, run over there, fetch that object. If the creature completes that order and doesn't receive further direction from you, it defends and preserves itself to the best of its ability. So you can use your action basically to take total and precise control of the target. Until the end of your next turn, the creature takes only the actions you choose and doesn't do anything until you allow it to. So for all intents and purposes, this monster is under your command for 1 hour.
Only 1 hour?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I thought it was indefinite. I was really happy for a second.
But that is 1 hour that you could try to converse with it, try to make it your buddy.
Yes! Okay.
All that.
So during the time everyone was going on inside the house and all that doom and gloom, Eddie has gone over and is sitting in front of it, like super close to where one of its like tendril bushes things are.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just looking at it, looking at the wand. And he looks at the wand, like, does it understand me when I talk to it?
It does as long as I'm around.
Why?
Oh, what do you mean, why?
Are you it?
Am I it?
Yeah.
No, my friend, I'm not the Shambling Mound. I'm just the conduit that connects the consciousness.
So when that breaks, what happens to you?
Oh, I don't know. You want to find out?
Not right now.
No.
Not right now. I'm no.
Okay, that's... So what's your name, friend?
Abby like was about to say something, but then pulls it back. It's like, I played this game before. I'm not doing that again. What's your name?
Me?
Mm-hmm.
I've had a few names in my time. What would you like to call me?
What were the names that you had last?
I swear if it says Osmodius.
Oh.
Abby made friends
Been
with
a
a demon.
while.
You can call me anytime.
I don't particularly remember right now.
Shady.
I was like, okay.
Well.
Well, he looks at the shambling and Abby reaches over. After, like, with his hand, he puts his hand on the flower bracelet he has and duplicates a flower from it and places it on the shambling mound. It's like, there you go. It's just like a gift. You're a friend. You're a friendly shambling. and then Evie looks to the one. It's like, well, I don't know your name, but you're helpful as well. So he duplicates another flower from that and just weaves it into the branch as well. Both of the plants, when he does it, are filled with the emotion of kindness and hope. Because he remembers that the Fey world shapes around the emotions. so he's hoping that by doing that, they form a bond of trust.
Okay. So yeah, so as you go over, and so you basically animate this plant, this flower, to give to the shambling mound.
Yeah. So the flower that's on his wrist that he got, he duplicates it to give each one of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the big shambling mound just sort of sitting there on its butt and its big massive body just sitting there. Is there anything that you want to say to it as you're doing this, or are you just kind of doing it silently?
He was just like, I know we just met and that you were very angry before, but I'm sorry, and I hope that this act of kindness shows peace, and I hope that you have a wonderful everything.
Its big, thick arm, sort of made of multiple vines and vegetation, elongated fingers kind of coming out of this cylindrical tube-like arm that kind of makes like a makeshift hand, but it's very, very large. Like the base of the arm is like this, and the shambling mound is fairly huge compared to you. So you just see this big arm just boink. And the eyes too are kind of, it's this indented looking face. So it's just like a bramble of vines and twigs and bushes, but like two sort of dark indents for eyes and this sort of twig-like mouth that kind of animates inside of the face.
It smells like honeysuckle.
Friend?
Evie smiles and calmly he's like, yeah, friend. And just
Make me an animal handling check.
eight.
I also rolled an 8. So as you're kind of conversing with it, you say,
Yeah, friend.
Last master also said friend.
Well, that's the difference. I don't want to be a master. I want to be a friend.
How to be friend?
Abby sits and then looks back at the house, seeing where all the rest of the team is. It's like, there's really no words to describe how, but it's built on a blind trust that eventually becomes visible. And there's kindness and respect between it all. It's hard to do it when you haven't had one before, especially if your last master was mean. But you take a chance and hope that the person there gives you kindness and you give kindness back.
Make another animal handling check.
I'm going to get rid of these dice.
Yeah.
Because that was a nat 1, so it's 5. Yeah.
So as you're kind of putting forth your best effort here.
Oh,
trying
I
to
got inspiration! I got inspiration!
Oh, you got a nat 1 though. That's a
Damn it!
auto fail.
Ugh.
The shambling mound kind of looking at you, staring into its sort of dull, wide-eyed, confused, simple face. Trust. We of the Feywild used to trust. We put our faith in Leader. Leader left us, abandoned us to them, and sort of gestures over with its big veiny vine arm to the corpse of Nightshade. When you trust, You get hurt. I don't think I can trust again.
Abby looks a bit sad. Now, you said something here that kind of piques an interest of mine. So this thing, is it Fey?
So not Fey in the traditional sense, in that, like, there are Fey beings, like, you know, tieflings, unicorns, you know, there's all various sort of creatures that fall under Fey. This thing is more of a sentient plant creature, very low intelligence, almost giant-like in its kind of musings and how it operates itself. But it itself is not Fey, although it's in a Fey landscape, if that makes sense.
It works. I'm just trying to see if I get my advantages. That's all.
Yeah.
So Abby looks sad, and he shimmies a little bit closer to the plant, and gently, in a very showing of kindness, places his palm on one of the branches, and being like, "I can't relate to your pain, but I've gone through my own, and I wouldn't be here today if I didn't take chances. And I'm not going to force you in any way to be uncomfortable, but I want to let you know that whether you trust it or not, I will definitely be a friend, always."
Roll animal handling at advantage.
Thank God. Oh, thank God. 19.
Whoa.
Oh, well
That's a lot
done.
better. That's a lot
Thank
better.
you.
All right, let's see what I roll. Okay. So, going over to Shambling Mound, saying this, kind of end your words by putting your hand over the Shambling Mound's sort of bulbous vine twig arm. And you start to notice a synergy of energy kind of leave some of the plumage on your wingspan. This sort of vibrant green energy sort of sips through your palm into the inner workings of the Shambling Mound. And you start to see various flowers bloom, sort of erupting out of the various vinage and greenery around the Shambling Mound, to the fact that there's like daisies and roses and like lavender and bell sprouts and just like all different types of colorations of flowers. And you notice the top of the Shambling Mound, this flower crown starts to emerge of various colored petaled roses and like pink, purple, and blue colorations of vibrant rainforest flowers that kind of appear over the top as the Shambling Mound just giant arm goes over your plumage and over the other arm and just burrows yourself into its vine-like body that kind of like opens up a little bit. You're like a little freaked out for a minute, and then you kind of like situate in there. Like it makes like almost this space for you to kind of sit within its like chest cavity.
Is this a shambles suit?
So you sit into the midriff of the Shambling Mound, and he says, "Thank you. I protect."
And I will love, and I'd be like,
So we have a Hulkbuster.
You
I am
Can
Iron Man.
You can save us. You're here to free us.
with my heart and soul.
No.
Will you leave me too? Oh, you're muted.
Oh, hello?
There you go.
Yeah.
I don't plan to ever, but you're always welcome to leave if that's your desire.
Ah,
The voice from the stick pipes up and says, "Oh, that was a lovely, lovely gesture. I could not have put it better myself, friend. You are picking this up better than I ever could have hoped."
Abby looks down, just like in his head, like, who is this? Like,
And as the Shambhamound kind of malforms, its body kind of spread its vines open a bit for you to kind of sit in it like a wicker chair. The shambling mound kind of stands up with you kind of sitting in its stomach, basically.
oh my god.
Want to see friends?
Yes! Oh my gosh, yes! And I was just like, hovering around, like, oh, what's your preferred name?
I don't have name. I am.
Iron Man.
Swamp Thing.
And the stick pipes up again. Oh, that's brilliant. You can give us both names.
Have a name.
I do?
You said you did.
I've had many names in my lifetime. I just can't remember most of them.
Can I do that? What's it called? That check to see insight.
Insight? Oh, yeah. Insight the sentient stick.
Yes.
All right.
I'm sorry. Sorry.
10.
Hard to read. It is a blank stick with a sort of green arcane glow around it as you just kind of like look at it. It's literally just a stick staring back at you. It's very hard to tell if it's lying or if it's telling fibs. It seems to be truthful. It seems like whatever this consciousness is just seems to kind of be barely kind of holding on to whatever this whole thing is. But we will move over from that scene to the rest of the party. Was there anything else anyone wanted to do here before resting up until the next day?
And Abby's gone somewhere else.
I was just saying, did Lucifer, because he's like back here in this weird clearing, did he see this whole back and forth between? I think
So
he's
we
far
can
enough
we
to
can
not
get
hear
to
it,
that
but-
point. The two of you had kind of left the house and you kind of went over to the forest area. Was there anything particular you wanted to do out there?
I was gonna check on Quincy.
Okay. So Lucy goes out to kind of follow up with Quincy.
What's
Hey,
the
bud.
time? What's the time right now, DM? Is it like almost
It's-
twilight? Is it getting kind of?
Yeah,
close
it's getting
to
to night. So at this point, the sun's kind of set behind the trees and that veil of darkness, and the stars are starting to come out in the night sky.
Cool. So you'd probably find, Lucy, if you were following Quincy, you'd probably find Quincy maybe like sitting underneath a tree, and he'd have his pack out, kind of like unbuckled from him, and he would be kind of purchased and like looking facing towards the sunset, and also looking to see if you could see the stars. And kind of when like in between that twilight phase of where you see the sunset fade and the moon kind of just very, very, very barely kind of appears, he's kind of looking clearly at that, and he's like absent-mindedly shuffling a deck of cards.
Okay. So Lucifer just kind of walks up and says, "Hello, mate. You don't usually exit quietly. You're all right."
Sorry. Sorry, Lucy.
No need to apologize. Just want to make sure that you're all right. Uncharacteristic exit of yours.
Yeah.
You know I'm not one for feelings or deep things.
I can tell.
I can try.
Really? I've not known this of you, Lucifer. But
His eye just like twitches as he's holding a smile for the first time ever.
I kind of look up at him and know that since he's not so much one for like deep emotional conversations, or it's like it's not his way, I'll kind of just like lightly just kind of chuckle at him and just kind of motion the deck of cards and just go simply, these were my sisters. I haven't touched these in years. They were kind of stuffed at the bottom of my bag, and when I looked into the picture, I didn't see you all as you shared with me, and I'm sorry. But I saw some people from my past that meant a lot to me. And one of them was my sister. This was hers. She was she was wonderful, honestly. She was a moon elf. And so we weren't biological in any way. It was more of a found family situation, kind of like what we have here.
I know what that's all about.
Isn't it wonderful?
Mm.
But it was one of those found family situations that was essentially divine, if you believe in that, or influenced by outward things. She was a sorcerer. One of the best, honestly, one of the best that I've ever known. A natural. Could read a book faster than anyone, read it upside down, backwards, learn a new language in a weekend, and I'm sorry, I'm just kind of going on, aren't I?
Lucifer chuckles and he says, "No, it's a word that I don't use often, but sweet. And I don't want to ask too much, but you say was. When was the last time that you were in contact?" And he just lets it kind of drone off.
Once he kind of takes a moment, like a long moment, to kind of digest that feeling and kind of going back to how to explain the last time he saw his sister. The last time I saw Crystal was a few years ago. With her neck bleeding and a spear in her side. And for lack of a better way, it was me who put that spear there.
Mm.
She loved the stars. She wouldn't stop talking about the stars. And the last thing she said to me, Lucifer, she pointed up at that one right there. And she said, "I'll watch you from that one."
Lucifer has nothing to say, but knows that Quincy knows that there's nothing that needs to be said. He just places a hand on his shoulder and just grips his shoulder a little bit. And just,
Quincy kind of
yeah.
just shuffles the cards, and then as he kind of looks through, he's just kind of shuffling absent-mindedly, and then he flips over a card, and it's the Emperor's card. He's like, of course it is.
Lucifer leans down, just looks at this, and is like, what is this that card mean?
Well, it means other things, but I think in this context, it means that Crystal's watching and she's trying to make me feel things that I haven't felt in a long time, so...
Lucy goes, "I don't know anything much about cards, but what I do know is that you have made her unendingly proud. I can guarantee you that."
I'd like to think that, Lucifer.
I'll remind you when you need it. And Lucifer just
you.
like gives him one more shoulder squeeze and just walks back to find everybody else.
You just leave Quincy to stare at the stars, that one particular star there. And if we get into a long rest, Quincy kind of just looks up at that star and takes a level in Warlock with a Celestial Patron.
Mm.
And yes, kind of just stands there and meditates over throughout the night.
So as the rest of your party settles down in Loom Lurch after that brief but very powerful conversation, as Quincy looks on above the stars, one particularly shining star twinkles a little bit, almost an affirmation that you may be looking at the stars in the Feywild, but maybe somewhere on the material plane, your sister is shining at that star right now, at this same moment.
And I'll just pack up my cards and... Well, actually, I'll probably just sit out there all night. I think I'll just probably camp out there.
Camp outside.
Yeah.
As the rest of you bed for the night and wait for the activities of the following morning, it's here, everyone, that we'll take our break. So, great first half, guys.
Hey!
Hell yeah. Look at all the shit you did. You made Shambling Mound friends. You murdered ghouls. You had intricate character moments. So good. But yes, everyone, we're going to take a quick break right here for a good 10 minutes or so. Just refresh the drink, stretch out the legs, and we'll be right back to finish the second half of our story. Don't go anywhere. Hello, everybody. We have returned from our casual little Feywild break there. Thanks for sticking around while we refresh the drinks and stretch the legs and all that good stuff. But we are going to jump right back into it, so we're not holding you guys up any longer, to the second half of tonight's session of Wild Beyond the Witchlight. So,
The crunching is immaculate.
as you were all bedding and sound asleep. Oh,
Sorry, I think the roll 20 is still on.
Where? What?
oh, for Aiden. Oh, okay. So, as you're all bedding for the night in Loom Lurch, some choosing to sleep outside, like Quincy, staring at the night sky. Ebby kind of nestled inside of the shambling mound, almost like a protective carcass, just sleeping inside like this, like curled up in a wicker chair. The rest of you kind of bedding in various areas in Loom Lurch, Elkhorn kind of putting out a bedroll, various members of the children kind of sleeping in various rooms in the house, kind of make a semicircle in the kitchen area just to stay close to Elkhorn. But at this point, Moss, as you are drifting away in slumber and sleep, your vision is dark, black, and this sour smell kind of comes into your purview. You try to move and you feel this viscous, this sticky, thick liquid kind of sludging against your fur and your arms and your legs. You struggle to kind of try to wake up and your eyes just feel like stones. They're so heavy. But eventually you're able to lift your eyelids. Your vision is blurred. You're looking around and there's just visions of fog and effervescent light. And you kind of look down and you see yourself in a bog in this gray, discolored mud. All over your fur, all over your clothes. Look down at your body and parts of your battle armor is cracked and damaged like you had just been through something. And you start to try to make yourself move in the muck. The slopping sound of the mud kind of trying to sink you in deeper until you're able to kind of wiggle your way out. And as you're able to kind of start to move the top half of your body. You just kind of look around, and it's this very desolate, gray, black toned, muddy shore. Kind of hear various sounds of waves kind of crashing. But you look around you and there's just dull mist kind of riding along this muddy embankment of gray. You kind of look behind you and you see a valley of dead grass. And another body in the mud. What would you like to do?
Is it another tabaxi? Do I recognize this person?
It is.
I go to it. Is it face down in the bog? I want to do a medicine check or something to check if it's okay.
Yeah, make a medicine check.
As I like lean down into the bog, I try to roll over the person and shake them awake. Who are you? Where are we? I don't remember where I am.
As you sort of sop over, it's another tabaxi, different colored fur, more in a brown and spotted white sort of coloration, but caked on with the mud all over. They're extremely exhausted. They're not dying necessarily, but they also look like they just went through a tremendous struggle. Battle marks all over their leather hardened armor on the breastplate and the shin guards. Bow, staff, and daggers kind of thrown over to the side.
Are you okay? What's your name? I'm sorry, I don't remember.
You have to get back.
Mystica. We have to get back. There was a great battle here. We need to go. Come on. And I try to like lift them up.
They don't move. They stay a bit centered on the ground. You shouldn't be here.
We have to get back. My medicine check was only a 9.
This is incredible. These lands are mysterious indeed.
Not nearly as amazing as our home, Mystica. We should try to get back.
Yeah.
You're coming with me. I'm not taking no for an answer. I don't want to go back alone.
You'll never be alone, Moss. We'll always be with you, but you have to do this on your own.
Please don't leave me.
Here. Kind of reaches under their hardened leather armor. And this faint bell sound kind of rings underneath. And it's a ball of red yarn. Here. Carry this with you. It'll lead you to where you need to go. I wish I could come with you, but just to see your face one more time. That is a gift I will carry on forever.
This is a dream, isn't it? Please tell me it is. That you're still waiting for me?
I'll see you on the other side. And you see your body start to your feet start to lift off the mud.
No, I'm not ready.
And you start floating further and further up. And that's when you wake. Almost in silence for a minute. Sweat kind of beating down from your face. And you don't remember very much. It's all faint. But you reach down, that ball of yarn is by your side. And you look down at your paw, and bits of gray mud are attached to your fingertips.
Where's Quincy?
As you say that, everyone kind of starts to wake up around you. Elkhorn, the dwarf, kind of situates the helmet on the head. It's morning already. Now, as you kind of look over, where's Quincy? I think he went to go sleep outside, by the trees.
Outside? By himself?
I just met you. Is that a bad thing? I thought it was okay. I don't know.
If
We're
you
in
go to
Loom Lurch.
if you walk out the door, you start seeing like elf green blasts being shot up in the air. Just randomly like fireworks.
Here.
You also see like amongst the treetops, just like a puff of like purple smoke going from treetop to treetop. You see like tiny little like whatever you can imagine of Lucifer trying to hold back pure joy of just like.
So as the rest of you are kind of communing with each other, getting up, stretching, planning out how the day is going to go, Abby, you kind of come out of your sort of cradled, shambling mound body that's housed you for the day. You kind of look over to Quincy as well, because Quincy, you have that portrait beside you, right?
That's still inside, but if we're outside, no, it's that portrait's inside.
You left it inside, okay.
Yeah.
So did you leave it kind of just hanging by the kitchen area? It was huddled with everyone? Okay. So Edby, you kind of go into the kitchen area as everyone's sort of wrapping up their sleeping bags and getting their packs ready. And you see that portrait of Bevlorna Brightstraw.
So Abby looks at it and then just like, no idea what this thing is, but walks over to it. It's like, oh, it's her.
Oh, it's her. Ladies and gentlemen, her.
Yeah, I don't particularly would want to keep around something like this, but Quincy, he wanted it, so he got it.
I see. And he walks a little bit closer. Does the thing start changing for Abby as well?
Not in here.
Not in here. Okay. So Abby just looks at it, just like pats with his finger a little bit. Like, oh, okay.
There are more portraits in the room down there if you wanted to go check them out.
Abby holds the stick. Is like, should we go?
Oh, I love another adventure.
Okay. And so he starts going with the stick into the other room where the portraits are.
Oh my goodness.
All right. So yeah, you just walk through a few more rooms, but eventually you get to the end of the hallway there. Mm-hmm. The bramble and the thorns have been all cut away from Quincy.
Yeah.
So there's 4 portraits with a big sort of space missing with the Blavlorna portrait. Okay. But same thing, you see these figures, these portraits of all these various hags step into the room, and all of a sudden they start to warp and change into the 4 closest members of your family, or what you would consider to be family.
So as they're changing up, it's like, did we do something wrong? To the stick?
No, I don't think so. I think these portraits are supposed to do this.
Okay, so Abby just kind of looks around. It's like, it's really spooky. But then he catches a glimpse at one of them, which just has a sphere that slowly floats through it, and fades. And he follows it, but the sphere jumps between each portrait. And when it goes through each portrait, it changes colors, going from red to blue to white, black, green, just constantly going. But then it doesn't appear again in the last one. And so the one where it's gapped doesn't, because it's out there, it doesn't help. So it's like, if we bring it back in, what do you think will happen to the stick?
You want to bring back the other portrait?
Well, I want to know what those balls going to.
I don't particularly know. I mean, seems to be some arcane imagery to reflect back to people that are most important to you.
Okay. Abby takes a few steps, but in the portrait to the left of the one that's missing, a little light appears, and he walks over to it, and he pokes his head, but instead of an orb, he sees what looks to be a collection of lands. And they slowly start, as if he is being pulled away from them, they start becoming more visible of what they are. And he notices that all the lands are kind of spaced around like a great wheel.
Okay.
And everything is just there. There's different landscapes of different colors, different energies from each land. And inside just has like these spires and faded other gases out in the distance. He's like, oh, interesting. And he's like, I don't know what this wheel means.
What are you seeing out there, friend?
It looks like a massive spoke wheel of lands.
Is that your homeland?
Abby looks a bit closer and is like, no, but it's right there and a part of it. And points to like this little sliver in the wheel.
Interesting. So what you hold dear is your homeland? Do you not have members of family?
Well, yeah, I guess. They're there. Well, they were there. Are they there? Where are they? They're there.
Perhaps we can both go there one day.
Yes. Yes, I would love that.
Very much would like to get out of the Feywild as soon as possible.
Why?
I don't know if you've lived a life as a stick. It's not very entertaining. You can't go on dates. You can't go see productions of theater. You're just stuck on the ground until the next person picks you up and drops you off willy-nilly. I'd really like to have a body, maybe some arms, legs, get around on my own bit.
If you could have a body of any type, what would it be? And I'd be still like staring at like the spinning wheel of lands.
Oh my God, I'd take anybody, really. Short, tall, big, small. It doesn't really matter to me. It's just as long as I'm not in a stick.
But one of your own and not someone else's, right?
Oh, I don't need to be in my own body. I'm pretty sure that has been gone for quite some time.
But to have your own, not taken by somebody, right? Right? Right?
We should see what the others are up to. Why don't we go back? Get some food in you.
Okay. As he turns around, he sees that the rest of the four portraits just have what looks to be a circular planet of each color in each one. And the wheel of massive collections of lands and stuff is still just spinning in its one spot. What looks to be in space.
Okay. Various colored planets circulating in the portraits. just sort of staying there, sort of interior at first, then zooms out to be more of the planet itself. Interesting.
Kind of like a cosmos.
All right.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's go. And he looks back and says, now. Just goes out and just looks at another painting and just like kind of like peers at it, the one that that Quincy brought out. And it's like, why don't you change your name just her?
So with the rest of you kind of gathering up your things, Elkhorn kind of takes the children outside. You're all kind of meeting out by the gardens. All right. It's going to be a little bit of a haul, but I think we can get this done in a day's journey. I've got a bit of a promise I got to keep to a friend of mine, and then I'll make sure all of you lot, and just starts patting on all the little children, over to our friend Little Oak, where you'll be safely rented there. And there's somebody there that can help the rest of you get over to yon.
Can I do one last investigation check to try and find a longbow? An armory?
Oh, you need a longbow?
Yes, please.
Here you go. My present to you for all the work you've done in Loom Lurch. Don't sweat about it. You know, the code of reciprocity and all of that.
I give him a kiss.
Oh,
Big ol' smooch.
do you do like a tongue lick?
Yeah, on the nose,
Oi! Oh! Well, I'll take that. That's okay.
Thank you.
I'll arrive to the rest of the party, be like, "What's it with everybody trying to get bow and arrows?"
Do
Heck, they're super cool.
Lucifer has a really cool one, and I just wanted to join the party.
So if I lick the dwarf, I get a
Wait, we're looking
Mike, you just hold on a minute there. I only had one longbow, all right? I don't have any more.
And he gave it to me.
I mean, but you got armor and boots and an axe and a helmet.
These are
and-
mine,
an
okay? I
apron
found
that
that. I'd
bleeds.
rather not get robbed. I thought we were friends.
We are.
Oh.
Abby runs out. I got a stick.
Can I knock it out
Are
of his
you
hand?
bird?
I was about to be like,
Put that down.
All right. First off, hey, Leonin, you want to come over here and help me with this hag corpse?
Oh, yeah. What do you, are we eating it? Or are we disemboweling it? Or are we
It is-
setting it ablaze?
Would
That was a lot at once. No, I just need you to break off its arm really quick.
Why?
do it. I
There's
mean,
a friend
why?
we're gonna go meet on the way to Little Oak. It's just a little quick stop, something I promised I'd do a while ago. Trust me, it's going to be worth it.
Oh, pull it off. Sure. And I unclip my axe and I just give the old and just swipe it off her body.
As Nightshade's body is now kind of just like frozen in place, decrepit from being outside there all day, still pinned down on the ground. Its wooden mannequin frame just kind of stuck there overnight. Big piece of the forearm and the arm just falls on the ground.
Can we burn it?
is it worth anything?
I just pick it up. I'm like, I'm gonna go.
An actual beam should.
And as Elkhorn picks it up, you ask, Quincy?
Oh, is it worth anything?
Well, it's, worth something. I don't know if you know about hags, but a lot of their dealings are figuring out how to trick people and cursing them. And there's a particular friend of mine on the way over there that I think might be in need of this sort of thing.
Should we burn the body?
Arctreon, chop up the rest of the body. I have an idea.
When Lucifer hears that, he's like, "Yeah, I'll take a hand."
I'd be like,
All right,
"Can I
so
use a stick?"
for this,
I'm just like over her body, just like.
Just a smoke cloud of just like.
I will say for Arctreon, make me a medicine check and a strength check.
Method.
Oh.
This is going to
Medicine.
determine how well you chop up the limbs or how badly you chop up the limbs.
Ooh.
Okay, medicine check. 19.
Ooh.
Nice.
You know how to
Check.
decapitate body parts. Very cool.
With his mouth.
Strength was a 12.
12. Okay. So the medicine
careful.
part, you're able to kind of weirdly precisely know exactly what joints to hit to get a clean break from the hag. So you're able to have, so apart from what Elkhorn took, you've got a forearm, a shin, and a head. So for all intents and purposes, you have 4 body parts of Granny Nightshade.
I
I'll
just
take
take her
a-
head. I'm like,
I'll take the forearm and just be like, hey, look.
I'm like, I feel like these would be really good bargaining pieces and finding allies or instant enemies.
Okay.
So-
I keep their head.
Sure, you can have it. And I'll take the rest of them and put the other pieces in waffles, just kind of keep them as storage. So I have a foot and
There
the
was
other arm.
put
Two-
2
2
shins and
feet.
an arm.
2 feet, an arm, and a
All
head.
right, I got the lady's feet. All right, cool.
I took the other forearm.
You got a foot fetish there?
I'm literally just using it as like a head
It's like
scratch.
I'm
just
saving this for later.
Is
We're
this
gonna-
revealing the intricate backstory that Quincy has a foot fetish?
That's why
I want
was
the feet.
like,
It's not weird. It's not weird. Just give me the feet.
Give me the feet.
All right, Tarantino.
I thought you were saying Dan Schneider, but okay.
Oh. All right. So as you gather up the pieces that's left over of Granny Nightshade, Elkhorn kind of looks over at you. He's like, "All right, ready to go?
Heavy
the
steps up
thunder
onto the
balloon.
shambling. Oh,
We'll sit."
In the thunder balloon.
We won't need to take the balloon that far. Also, being up in the air, easier for people to spot us. It's about like a 2 to 3 hour journey from here. Should be no problem, and then you can get you back to your balloon. No problem.
Insight check.
Sure.
He wants me to take away me from my balloon. It's a 14.
14. Doesn't seem to be trying to swindle you or anything. Genuinely, just from what you saw before, getting up into the air does seem to put more eyes up on top of you.
Sure.
And it's not too terribly far away. So you've
Okay.
got your balloon kind of situated in a part of the forest that's kind of covered with foliage and a bit out of the way. But if you
Cool.
didn't want to feel you wanted it too unattended, you could try to put it up in the air and do that, or just leave it where it is. You still got Clabberclaw defending it.
Oh, true. True.
Clever claw.
I'm trying to.
But I think at this point, Moss is kind of like looking at Quincy, who's being like skeptical of our new guide, and she just kind of like puts a hand on his shoulder and tells and comforts him, saying, "This next witch that we're going to, from what I recall, she's on a high mountaintop. I think we should try to be as stealthy as possible when trying to get into Yon. And our immaculate weather balloon is not really stealthy. We should leave it here."
There's also these rods that Moongrave has to power up some creepy theater she's got hiding in the mountains.
I forgot about that.
Sucks in electricity from the sky. So also, if you're running around in that weather balloon, there is a chance you could get struck by lightning. Just saying.
And you
Oh,
don't
I was-
want that because Abby remembers lightning makes it goes fast.
Interesting.
Lucy's
Alright.
like, I've danced with lightning before. It's
Abby
not
starts-
that bad.
Abby also starts thinking of the shambling riding the thunder balloon with them, and just like, I don't know how that works.
Sounds
The balloon can only take so much weight. There's like 6 of you, and the shambling mound is like 2 sumo wrestlers heavy.
Is the shambling mount with us right now? Like, can they see it? Because
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay.
So as you're all kind of gathering outside, Abby, you kind of went inside to get the portrait, but they saw it before. What was that?
I was thinking of the audio. Ah! All right.
All right.
Yeah, I see the show on. Ah! Oh, and then I see like Abby in there. All right.
Yeah, as you're all kind of gathering up, Abby, you go back into the shambling mound, sort of sit in that wicker basket chair that it's made of vines and vegetation. did you want it to take you along this journey?
Only if it wants to. Because I don't. Does this count as a charge now because of the fact that it's not friends?
No, this is you kind of bonded with it, so you're not. This isn't under the influence of the dominate monster spell. This is you two have kind of formed a bond a bit.
Yeet the stick. Yeet the stick.
Do I hear you saying that?
You're like out openly, she's just saying this.
Yeet the stick.
I mean, like looks around, you're like, "Where's the stick?" I'm just like, I have it like I'm picking my teeth. I'm like,
Can the stick, by the way, hear them?
You don't know.
Oh God. Okay. So if it talks to me about something, then that's that. It probably wants to. I still don't trust the stick.
That's good.
could easily throw away the untrustworthy stick. Keeps
But
it.
the stick made a sad story.
We can put it in. Well, you don't want to volunteer
I need the
waffles.
backstory of
But I
the
want
stick.
it to have the least amount of contact with you in case it's cursed.
In case it's cursed. Knowing Kevin
Just-
wanting to like corrupt Ebby, that's a good chance.
Just, like, lean
I
down
don't
to
know
Quincy
what
and-
you're insinuating, but
Oh.
I like it.
But Ebby just pops his head and remembers. He's like, I haven't introduced you guys yet. We have new friends.
It's
What?
just like,
Ah,
As you all kind
alright.
of come outside, you see the shambling mound.
Ebby, are you trapped?
No.
You're not in danger.
Define danger.
You're sitting in a pile
Can
of
you
shambles.
breathe?
Yes.
Okay, comfortably?
Very. It's very fresh.
Lucy's
in
hands are
here.
just like both sitting on his hand axes, just like,
Well,
a poke.
I wash my hands of this mess.
but, and then he like puts his hand on it because he knows that the shambling have a name. He's like, this is Aurelon.
Arlon.
Aralon.
Aurelon.
It's nice to meet you, Arlon. I like your flower crown.
And it reaches out with its hand, and like it has like these sort of four elongated sort of vines that look like digits, and then two of them just sort of vine out and slither towards you, Moss. Just the two of them goes up to your hand, so you can just do a little.
I wipe my hand of the muck and shake it. Nice to meet you.
I'd be so happy. I'm like, oh right. And it's like Ebby like thinks, I guess it's okay. It's like, and this stick is Arborea.
Okay.
Why is the stick and the thing different?
No.
Why are you and I different?
Oh,
It's not the same creature?
No. No.
Lucy was just like,
Are you the same? No, I already asked you that. No.
Lucy was just like, friendly mound, okay.
Cool. All right,
Dick?
I return back to the dwarf and like, lead on.
How fast is the mound?
It can go just well. It can there's various speeds, but it'll just go as fast as your party's kind of like trailing over towards.
Could it carry?
It's
the
not like
party?
Bubba that goes like 5 miles an hour.
Yeah, no, it's not a snail. It could carry a couple people if you want to, but it's just gonna go like along with the party's pace.
Okay.
Put that thing in sport mode.
I want-
to shift into
I wanna ask
maximum
our-
overdrive.
I want to ask Arlon permission for me to climb on top of its head and like braid its vines. Arlon, can I do that? Please.
Origami, and just like takes your body and puts it on its back.
I'm gonna be. You're gonna be so pretty or handsome
And
or just
Ebby,
amazing.
Ebby leans in just like and whispers, "Sit with friends. You're making friends."
Gorlami likes braids.
Awesome.
He can't say his own name.
All right, so with Elkhorn kind of leading the charge, I'm gonna roll some nature checks here. Ooh. Okay, so Elkhorn kind of leading you through, kind of getting out of the area of Loomlurch into the dense forest nearby, traveling for about an hour and a half or so. until you kind of reach a part of the forest that seems to have a bit of a wooded hillside to it, where the denseness of the trees kind of separate for a minute, and then there's just kind of large hillside where you see a cave entrance protruding out of it. And you can see kind of cozy torchlight radiating from the cave. And that's about it. And Elkhorn comes up to you, is like, I want to keep returning the favor for what you've done for me and what you've done for all these children. There's somebody downstairs that's going to be a little off-putting. Do not react. Everything will be okay. And just follow my lead, all right?
Okay, who are we seeing?
This is my friend Nib.
Nib the...
Just Nib. N-I-B.
Okay.
He's a bit of an odd fellow. Had a bit of a raw deal with the hags here, particularly with Granny Nightshade. And I always told him if that crazy grandma ever goes down, I would help him out.
Okay. Is he helpful?
Oh, yes. Very much so. Used to be sort of a tinkerer for our little group of stowaway children, helping them with various items and things.
All right.
It's going to be a good trade, trust me. Just don't react.
I will try my best.
Very good.
I put my hand over Abby's eyes.
Okay, perfect. Leave your friend out and just come follow me.
It took me a minute.
And he starts to walk towards the cave entrance. Do you want to follow?
Yes.
I will follow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is Abby able to follow?
He said, like, leave the leafy man here, basically.
Oh.
The cave's not big enough to have the shambling mound coincide.
Okay.
We'll be back. And then I finish off some of the braids on his head.
So, going inside of this dark tunnel here, about 20 feet from the cave, as you're kind of walking towards the cave entrance, you do see a tree nearby with a weathered sheet of parchment nailed to its trunk. And I will have whoever wants to read this parchment roll a d8.
What, D8?
Mhm.
Oh.
I'll try. 2.
And then what you get?
2. So the poster that you see is a portrait of a boy drawn in ink. Above, the following words say, "Wanted, will of the Feywild." And there seems to be an offer and a reward for the capture of this person. The offer saying, "This little troublemaker belongs to me. Bring him home alive and unharmed, and you'll win the heart of one you love."
Signed, is it like signed by anybody? Is it by
Signed
order of...
by Granny Nightshade.
Oh. This might be an ally.
Will of the Fae.
Have we
Or can I not
seen
read that?
before?
Only Quincy could read it.
If you can read Elvish, you can read it.
Yes, I can read Elvish.
No,
Yeah.
mine's Sylvan.
This is a potential ally. It's a
What does
wanted
it say?
poster. It's a wanted poster by Granny Nightshade for this Will of the Feywild. Some troublemaker that she apparently wants back, but she's never gonna get that now, is she?
Sounds like a new friend to me.
Sounds like a potential ally for sure.
As you see out of your pack, Quincy, 2 feet kind of bobbing out of the pack from Granny Nightshade's
Oh
feet.
Oh.
But as you kind of go past that portrait, that paper, do you take the poster or you just kind of leave it there?
I want to ask Elkhorn, is this up there as like a trophy, or is this up here as like potentially Nib is looking for this will?
Yes, no, those portraits are all over the lands here that Granny Nightshade presides over. Will the Feywild is one of the leaders of the getaway gang where we're going. She's been trying to eviscerate him for years, but has always evaded her gaze with the help of people like us in the Valor's Call.
Huh. Well, I'll take it. If there's many more of these, could probably use it for something. I'll take it. Fold it up and put it in waffles.
Okay. So as you take the poster, start to go towards the entrance of the cave, you go down several feet, probably like a good 50, 60 feet or so, kind of going down, and various torchlight ensconced onto the rock walls on either side. And you kind of reach sort of this open area. And inside the cave is a wizened old man wearing a blindfold that sits at a spinning wheel, surrounded by piles of gold. As he spins, he reaches down and grasps handfuls of coins, which transform at his touch into gleaming gold fibers. So he's at this big spinning wheel, this old man,
He's
blindfold over his eyes,
Yep.
reaching down to a giant pile of gold behind him that looks to be like 27,000 gold pieces, like a cachet of wealth. Is reaching up, grabbing the gold pieces, and as he brings them up to the spool wheel, it turns into gold fibers, and he starts intricately putting in the wheel and starts creating.
Like a Rumpelstiltskin type vibe?
A little bit.
Huh.
Interesting.
All right, now, I'm going to do a bit more of the talking here. Nib comes from a place on the material plane called Waterdeep. He's been here for a very, very long time. Just don't spook him too much.
Okay.
Then out of the corner of the room, ah! Hey! Is someone here? Hello? Nib. My friend? Is Elkhorn? Elkhorn? Came back from a little visit? More than just a visit, my friend. I've got some very, very good news for you. I think I might have found a way to break your curse. Reaches in, grabs a bit of the forearm. Just so you know, Nib, I have some friends here with me in the cave as well. They mean you no harm.
Hello, Nib.
No harm.
Oh, there's people. Oh, they smell fresh too. Oh, it's good to meet you. My name's Nib. What's your name?
My name is Quincy. And these are my friends.
Arcturion.
Hello, you master craftsman. My name is Lucifer. I see you doing very good work.
Yes, trying. They're trying my best. Wait a minute. If you've returned to me, then is she finally gone? Have you done it? Yeah.
Well, I was saying, like, I just pull out her head.
I pull out the little hand.
So you do that, and the blindfolded Nib just. Did you all go silent? I don't know.
Oh,
Sorry, I have her head in my hand.
We have pieces.
Oh, that's what that smell is. Oh, God. Oh.
Right there.
Elkhorn said that you wanted a limb from Granny Nightshade, and we're here to kind of convey that the hag is no more.
Yes, well, you see,
She's not in one piece.
Oh, that. Yeah. You see, I've lived a very cruel and heartless existence. I earned these riches by exploiting my tenants' misery, buying up condemned property and renting it out for an exorbitant fee. Granny Nightshade was trying to help me make amends. I told her I wanted to put my bad deeds behind me and my ill-gotten gains to good use. She cursed me to dwell forever in this cave, spitting my gold into useful items for anyone she needed me to be for.
So you're a landlord?
I used to be. Now I just make items for Nightshade whenever she needs.
Well, you don't need to do that anymore, friend. Nightshade is no more.
You mean I don't have to look over my shoulder anymore? And you see from the gold pile in this cave room, you start to see shadows moving amongst the light of the torch. Various spirited entities kind of coming up, various shapes, various faces, all sort of humanoid in their depictions, but these spirits seem to be nestled in the gold, and they're kind of peering up from time to time and floating back down.
Is your... Go ahead.
Can I pull up my lantern? Does it affect anything?
You pull your lantern through the wisps of cloud, various sort of gaunt phases, and all of a sudden, perfect images of these spirits come into view. Just various villagers, commoners, men, women, children, old people. People that were from Toril, from Waterdeep. They're all wearing like sort of modern clothing.
Kind of like step back as I'm a little bit like, ooh.
Nib, why are you worried about looking over your shoulder? What do you think you'll see?
Well, see, I'm haunted by my own words. As long as my ill-gotten gains were put to good use, my bad deeds would remain behind me. So you are beholding the restless apparitions of those I hurt. They lurk behind my back, tormenting me with pokes at my ribs and whisperings in my ear. I can't bear to look them into the eye, not after what I did to them. That's why I wear the blindfold.
What would you do if you could go back and make amends? You're from Waterdeep, yes?
Yes, I am.
Well, without being super presumptuous, we have a way of getting you back out of the Feywild.
You mean I can go back home?
We happened to go to one of the hags, and they had this mirror that was a portal, and it led to this carnival, but it's a carnival that exists not in the Feywild. It will be on a material plane if you...
Oh, my friend, I would very much like to go back home. All right. Well, let's do one thing at a time here. You've got that other hand, do you?
I do.
All right. Let's hand it over
And
here
the feet.
for a minute. I think I might just need the two hands. I think that might do it.
Oh.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, you keep your feet, Quincy. I will.
He's like, yes.
All right.
I'll make so much
Sort of
money
reaches
off of this.
into Elkhorn's like big sort of camping backpack, puts it down the ground, opens up a few compartments. This large sort of stone bowl gets laid out, sort of a mixing utensils, takes out the two forearms and, hey, furry friend, you want to help me with this?
Which one?
The scary Leonin one?
Oh, yeah, sure. What do you need?
I need you to pound these arms into dust, literal dust.
Oh, God.
No, I didn't want that. That's
And
fine.
I just start like twisting, splitting, like Captain America just split the forearm in half.
All right, make me a
And-
strength check.
All right, strength is plus.
Can we give him advantage by cheering him on?
Sure. What do you want to cheer?
I was going to say I do have a D4 inspiration.
Let's go, kitty. Let's go.
Help action engaged.
I'm rolling so low.
You get advantage.
I know. I rolled a 5 for the first one, rolled a 6 for the second one.
Oh,
I have
didn't
one
like my
D4
song.
of inspiration.
All right, you got to beat a 10.
Ooh.
And
So you need.
Oh
you
well,
need a
no, it's then I get 11.
Oh.
Yeah, plus my.
Oh, you
5
forgot your
inspiration.
mods.
Yeah, no, I just said I had rolled so low, so I was
Oh.
like, ah.
Yeah, just
Okay.
missing the 10. So yeah, you take the forearms, you smash them up into smaller bits so that Elkhorn can take them, start grinding them into his bowl. All right, friend. This is for you for keeping watch over Little Oak and the Getaway Gang all these years. We thank you. Blows bits of the dried up dust of Granny Nightshade over Nibs's body and over the piles of gold and over the wheel that they're spinning.
I lean over to Moss. This is the weirdest cremation I've ever witnessed.
Is that what this is?
I don't think so, but it's.
Lucy leans over to, just above them, is like, it's not the weirdest one I've ever seen.
We both just kind of like go separate ways, and like Lucifer's by himself. Just,
They're like, hey, look, just be respectful for a moment, please. Just give it a minute.
Mm.
And the dust kind of wafts over, like a wind has kind of gusted up inside of the cave itself. And as this happens, you notice that the gold starts to dissipate and disappear. The spirits start to meld away into the walls, but the spinning gold yarn continues to I can't say words. Shine brightly. And as these spirits kind of dissipate and sort of meld into the walls, into the ground, suddenly all the whispering and humming kind of stops. And there's just silence in the cave. Lifts up one part of the blindfold. Oh my God.
Hello.
Hi.
Oh my God, people! And just gets out of his chair and just rushes over to Quincy and just picks you up, lifts you up in the air. Oh my God!
Hi.
Oh, thank God!
Hello.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And runs
Yeah,
over to each of you and just gives you like the biggest hug individually. It's like, oh my God, Elkhorn, you really do go on your promises. Thank you so much. And Elk just like goes over Elkhorn's stout dwarvish body. It's like, it's all right there, friend. It's all right. No, I told you I'd come back. It's all good. It's all good. I have to repay you. The code of reciprocity means I have to pay you back. I don't want to hear another word about it. You have done me a great service. I have to repay you. Okay. And reaches over to the spinning yarn. Okay. For you, you seem like you're okay. As he's sort of reading out your body types, your energies of what to create for you, I need each of you to roll me a D8.
D8. I learned from you guys at Gen Con to organize them in a row so I can just see them very clearly.
Okay. It's my lucky number. I'll take it.
Okay, so Archeron, what'd you get?
2.
2. Ebby.
6.
6. Lucy.
Also a 6.
Yay!
Yay.
Quincy.
4.
4. Moss.
6.
Hey!
Dang.
It's my lucky number.
Yeah. Lucifer is
It's
over here like,
6.
yeah.
I will allow the two of you, Moss and Lucy, to re-roll if you like, to get a different number from Ebby or keep what you have. Oh,
I mean,
Is this a rock, paper, scissors?
Yes.
to determine who has
Rock,
to
paper,
reroll or
scissors,
keep
shoot.
it.
Do you want to keep the 6 or do you want
I
to change
wanna
it?
Keep mine.
Okay, I'll reroll.
Okay.
Hopefully I get like a different number than everyone else. 7.
ooh,
7.
okay.
Okay.
It might be beneficial for everyone to have different numbers, huh?
But
Yeah, that's
you don't know
what-
what you're getting though.
That's
Okay.
it.
Well, but we could
I'm
trade it.
allowing you to just decide if you wanted to try to get a different thing from another person in the party.
I think variety is a good
Did somebody else already have a 4?
I got a 4.
A 7?
That's me.
Jackie just
Hey,
rolled a
you and
7.
I are just meant to be twinsies.
8.
There we go.
Eight.
Took me a few tries.
All right.
Cool.
Watch, the 6 is like the best thing, and he just like
Stop it.
juked us out of having it.
It's poker rules. We won't say what the
Don't
numbers
change
were.
Tristan is just like, Abby can keep it, but the other two go.
Okay. So you start to
Oh,
see
yeah.
this very old man just in sort of burlap sack clothing with a bit of a sash around his waist. You're like, I have to repay you. The laws of the land demand that I pay you back. Just stay right here. Stay right there.
Okay.
Goes over his wheel and starts to spin the golden yarn into these little knitting tools. Okay. You furry friend, here, you're first. Okay. I'm so happy I'm not hearing voices anymore. And it's just getting like super, super excited.
Okay.
And for you, he knits a very ornate bag with a sort of a satchel-like bag with like brown leathers and various weaved beaded patterns kind of in the top and along the bottom of the bag. Yeah. This is for you, friend. Whatever you want this to look like, just put that image in your mind and the pattern will go over the material. This is for the many journeys you'll have in your endeavors.
Thank you.
So as
And
you
like-
pick up this big satchel, what do you want it to look like?
This big satchel.
As it's kind of gleaming in golden fibers all over it, you'll have a minute to just have an image of what you want the bag to look like. It's like it's imagery. It's if there's anything embroidered in it, or if it's brown leather or velvet, whatever.
Think I'll have it match already kind of the black or the brown leather strapping that I have on me already, and then on the face of like it'll just be like a notebook kind of sack. It'll just have the one flap in the front, but it will have a gold ring, and on the inside it's just like a very simplistic lion head facing outwards
Oh,
in
nice.
iron.
And so as you kind of think that, the bag starts to mold and shift towards the imagery that you have in your mind, and this golden lion's face comes out and all of the decorations. You have yourself a bag of holding.
Ah, yay! Yay!
All right, there you go.
Wow.
All the things that you'll find along the way. Okay. Who's next? Who's next? Oh, you feathered friend. Oh, I think you'd like this one. Okay, spin up the wheel, and just starts to get the materials going. And for Ebby, you got a 6.
Yes.
You see that the spool of golden thread starts to make gloves, but ones that can fit your feathery winged hands. And again, as he's kind of like spinning them out, they kind of have like a wide sort of angular fixation to them. Haven't made mittens for a bird before, but I think these might do the trick. And again, they're that bright golden coloration. And once he hands them to you, whatever you want the imagery to look like on the gloves is 1000% your call.
Okay, so as he slides them on, just as the last bit touches his fingers, wraps into an ivory root around each finger that holds the image of a burning firefly in each knuckle, or on each one. And then as the gold ropes fall on each feather, they slowly embed themselves within the feathers so that they're intertwined, and they flow through just like little wisps that hang off him that kind of match how his root cloak does. But and then each one coils off like a vine in certain places, and then as it gets closer to the inside of his mound, it just kind of like reaches up and goes along the brine of its arm all the way up to his shoulder of a little more roots, and just up the top is a little water lily on each one.
Aw. All right. So as soon as that kind of wraps into your feathers and goes up to the top of your shoulders, you're kind of closing your hands open and closed, but you don't hear any sound. The material doesn't seem to make any noise or any rufflings. What you've been given are gloves of thievery. You gain a +5 bonus to dexterity and sleight of hand, which also means you get a +5 bonus to picking locks.
Nice.
Good God.
I feel.
Cool.
Oh.
That's amazing.
My
Cool.
stealth like kitty paws could have used that.
Lucy's
know-
got good stuff too, so like,
I mean, they are items that are interchangeable. They're not like stuck to a person's ID.
I put on like his feathered glove on one of my like little fingers and just like.
If we were to trade, would they change shape for her?
Yes.
Oh, that's cool.
Arctron's in the back, just like stuffing an axe in the bag and like.
How does this work?
Abby's just like talking with the stick about how
Yes.
My arm is in the bag. And
Lucy
And,
keeps seeing Abby talk to the stick, and he's just like, I don't like that.
Are you? Is Lucy jealous that Abby's not giving him attention?
He's just whispering to him. He just whispers it to himself.
Oh, okay.
I
He's
think I
suspicious
overhear
of
it. I'm
what's
just
going
like,
on.
I know. I think I'm gonna steal it when he goes to sleep tonight. And I just like smile at Abby.
And Abby's just like,
Uh-huh.
All right. And for you, my feline friend, yes, I think this will be good. Starts to knit together this elongated stick. Looks like a wand of some kind.
I get a stick. I guess I won't have to steal Abby's.
Here you go, friend. This will help you for getting the next tag. If any sneaky things come up, it'll be able to serve you a bit better. Hands you over this ornate wand that it kind of looks like almost like a Harry Potter one. It's got like a bit of a
Don't even wait.
it's got a bit of a pearl at the end of it, and sort of wooden strands that kind of weave together like this that form into a point. And what you've been given is a wand of secrets.
Oh, nice.
So the
Nice.
wand has
I'm letting Abby have this. No.
so it has 3 charges. While holding it, you can use an action to expend one of its charges. And if a secret door or trap is within 30 feet of you, the wand pulses and points at the one nearest to you. The wand regains 1d3 expended charges daily at dawn. So you basically use the 3 charges for it, and it's empty. And then when you take a long rest, you roll a d3, and that's how many charges you have the following day for it.
Fine.
Thank you so much. This is amazing.
You're very welcome, my dear. You're very, very welcome. Who's next? Oh, yes. You, points over to Quincy. Oh, you've got style. You've got flash and pizzazz. What to give you? I know. Starts to knit together bracers.
Okay, cool.
And again, kind of shining brightly over to you in this gold ornate light. Here you go, friend. Wear this on your forearms. Give your precision a bit of an extra kick.
Okay. What kind of bracers are they?
They are bracers of archery. So while wearing these bracers, you have proficiency with the longbow and short bow, and you gain a +2 bonus to damage rolls on ranged attacks made with such weapons.
I look at Moss and Lucy and be like, do I have to get a longbow now?
I don't think you do. They act as it, don't they?
No,
I'm just proficient in it.
They make you proficient with longbows, but it's not a longbow itself.
Okay. That'd be really cool if it was like gauntlets, kind of like spectral. Okay.
You don't have to get one. I can just toss you mine from time to time.
I have an extra short bow. I can give it to you, right? Because short bow and long bow, right?
Let's wait till Lucy gets his. Maybe we do trade.
All right. So after that, we go over to, or is that it? Is that everyone? And then it's Lucy?
Lucifer. Yep.
All right. Looks over to you, Lucy, standing there with your 3-piece suit, your red tiefling skin shining brightly against the fire of the torches that are lit in here. Yeah. You seem like someone who's usually a bit of a loner, am I correct?
Sometimes. Yeah, that was the old me. I don't talk to him anymore.
So we're all changing over a new leaf. I see. Okay. You could use maybe a little bit of company. Yes. Then starts to weave together what looks like to be a tiny hourglass. And in the hourglass, as it's forming this bright golden coloration, you see a small blue sapphire gem kind of floating in the middle of it. In the hourglass, you kind of hold it over and the sand kind of ripples over the blue sapphire gem. Over one way, pouring it over on the other as this silver glittery sand kind of imbues into the glass. And it goes over to you. Be very, very careful with this. Break only in case of emergencies.
Thank you. You said you might need some company? This is beautiful and ornately made. Is this meant to be a companion?
Well, it is of sorts. It'll stick around for a little bit, but not for a long while. It's more if you're in a bit of a bind and maybe need some help putting the muscle on maybe a particular hag that I would very much like to also go down.
Is it a one-time use?
Let's just say once you break that glass, you'll have a very powerful ally in battle for a short amount of time.
But then that's it. Then they goes away after the single.
After the battle's commenced, the friend goes back to the material plane, from whence they came.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much for this help.
You're very much welcome. Thank you all for giving back my eyesight, getting rid of this horrible.
I lock eyes
spirit.
on Lucy, and I'm like,
We'll talk. Because Liz was like, and this is very cool. He's just not still quite sure what it is. So he's like, yeah, I'm gonna need some. Yeah, sure.
Can I do an Arcana check on it?
Sure.
Like, did he give a definition of what it was?
He's being particularly aloof.
Okay, well, I'm gonna do Arcana, and my Arcana sucks. If anyone else wants to pitch in,
Yeah.
mine's a dirty 20.
Okay, how about Quincy does the investigation, and I just listen in.
All right, dirty 20.
I can't find my dice.
So looking at the gem in the middle, it looks familiar to you, actually.
Okay.
Through your history of tinkering, especially with your artificer background, you've been privy to a lot of interesting inventions, let's say. And you do remember a particular instance from some of your old teachers about the use of trying to control elemental energy, particularly ones that are encased in certain gems. And it kind of takes you a moment as the blue sapphire in the middle of the hourglass kind of had this weird vibe and this weird effervescence to it. You saw kind of gold flakes floating inside of the gem with a bit of liquid inside. The gem inside appears to be an elemental gem.
Okay.
Meaning that when you break the glass,
Summons the elemental.
you will conjure an elemental.
Okay. But we don't know what kinds.
Or
Or is
don't
it?
know what kind.
Okay. I'll scooch over to Lucy and be like, these bracers make you hit harder with your longbow. I'll trade you.
Do you withhold the information of your Arcana check from
Lucy's looking at him. He's just like, what do you know about this thing? Which I assume is a lot.
It is really cool. So basically, you break that in case of emergencies. And we get ourselves a special little elemental that could like do our bidding for a little bit.
little tiny little thing.
just
Does Quincy have Coco with him?
No, Reggie. Coco doesn't at this point in Quincy's life. Coco doesn't exist, but Reggie is my little cannon.
Arcane mechanical cannon that transforms into a bird.
Lucy looks between the hourglass and Quincy's gauntlets. How much do the gauntlets or the greaves help with?
Gives you a +2 to damage and proficiency in short bows and long bows.
Does the proficiency help with hitting?
Hitting? Yes.
So you get a +2 to damage rolls on ranged attacks with such weapons. You have proficiency with you already have proficiency with long bows and short bows because you're a fighter.
Oh, that's right.
So the proficiency bonus is already added to your stuff, but you get a +2 extra to your damage. So if you say with your longbow, whatever your damage is now, like if it's a +6 +3, right? If it's like 1d6 damage +3, it would be a 1d6 +5.
So it'd be a 1d8 +3 because right now it's a +1.
Correct.
But it doesn't help you to be more accurate.
Not the hit, but the damage will be increased.
Quincy, I'm gonna hold on to this for now.
That's okay. That's okay.
There's a very likely chance
That's
that I will
okay.
exchange with you.
That's okay. I'll walk
Because
over.
Elizabeth sees that he has like when Nib said that like he could get a companion, Lucifer's first thought was like, please give me a
Dragon?
a
drake?
A familiar.
Aww.
He wanted like a little familiar buddy with him.
Aww.
He heard a companion, he was like, and then so he's like, Quincy, more than likely before our next battle, I'll probably just I'm gonna think for a little while, but it's in a high likelihood that we shall exchange.
I will put the bracers in waffles. I will
Okay.
keep them.
Lucifer sees him put the bracers away, and then he goes, no, you know what? As long as you promise that I get to see what happens, we can exchange now.
Oh.
This was like, I just want to see the cool thing that happens.
I'm
But if we
pretty
get
sure.
to keep it, can he hang out with me sometimes?
elementals don't stay around very long, but I mean, if when it's open and out of here, you can tell it what to do.
As long as I can see it.
Sure.
Okay. He exchanges.
I'll take the hourglass.
He puts the greaves straight on. He's aware of them all the time.
And again, the imagery of the bracers form to whatever image that you particularly want them to look.
Red, black, and a hint of purple dragon scales.
Very nice.
Dope. All right. So after going into Nib's cave, getting a few good goodies, Elkhorn goes over to Nib like, all right, friend, thank you so much for the gifts. We really do appreciate it. We're going back over to the getaway gang, over to Little Oak. Did you want to come with us? I'm sure that the children would love to see you if you got more gifts for them. Actually see them with your own eyes. Oh my God, the children! I didn't even think about that. Yeah, of course I want to see them with my own eyes. That'll be fantastic. We actually got a fair gaggle of them outside of your cave here. With Greenwich Nightshade no more, we were able to actually take the rest of them out of the self-imposed, children with jobs thing that was going around. All over now, thanks to these lots. We're gonna save the Feywild as soon as we know it. Oh, goody, goody, goody! And just starts to waddle out of the cave and goes back out to the forest.
Gold that's still there, is it gone?
It is.
Okay.
Apparently, having the
fine.
gold around was kind of part of the curse that was now lifted.
Okay. I look at the hourglass and I'm like, okay, interesting. I put that in waffles, and I kind of look at the bag that Arcturion has, and I'm like, we have 2 bags of holding in this party.
We could hold so many things. This puppy right here, I slap it it's like a car salesman. This puppy can hold 30 axes. It's gonna be great. I'm just gonna
And I'm
if
like,
not more.
Throw.
In the
Pull
back
an
of my
axe,
mind, I'm
throw.
also like, and I kind of under my breath say, and they could be a bomb too.
Or a candle.
Well,
Fire.
have you ever put a bag of holding into another bag of holding?
What happens if you put a bag of holding into a bag of holding?
Oh my God.
Don't cross the streams. Don't cross the streams.
So I will pull Arcturion aside and whisper to him what happens when you put a bag of holding into another bag of holding. Basically, instantaneous rift, 10 feet of what happens. It gets sucked into another portal, and it's spit out to an astral plane. So,
Okay.
if we had the bag on a hag, put my bag in that bag, it's an instant.
Why was I thinking the exact same thing?
Just a theory, but you enjoy that bag.
Okay.
You guys mess it up. You kill yourselves. Fade to black. Credit.
We have an
an
elemental who can carry stuff for us. Hey, I'm gonna make this work. I'm a.
I look forward to
I'm
you
excited.
making this work.
Okay.
I am excited. Very excited.
We also have a swamp thing.
Beautiful. Wouldn't have it any other way. So yeah. So you get up to the entrance of the cave, back to the forest area. Nib's kind of talking to the children and just happy to just see sunlight blocking the eyes a little bit, smelling the trees and the grass. All right, come on, kids. You're almost home. And starts leading you guys out of this area towards the getaway gang location.
So are we separating from the children, or are we walking with them?
You're walking with them.
Okay.
Elkhorn is kind of leading you to the next location.
Okay, because I wanna make sure to say goodbye to the one girl that seems to have been frozen in time for 30 years. I want to make sure that
Yeah.
she's okay.
Yeah, she's doing okay. They're all just kind of a bit tired from walking around for about an hour or so.
Sure.
I
What
want to
does
be
my
holding their
candies
hands.
do again? What does the candies do again? Because I looked at my notes and I said I had 7 Witchlight candies.
Yeah.
Or candies from them. What does...
Oh
What do those
god.
do
Okay.
Didn't they have mysterious powers? And they were all
Yeah, but is it anything that's
Mysterious.
that'll kill them?
You never ate them to see what they did.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
It's
Maybe I
something,
shouldn't
like
feed him
super
to the
lame.
ship.
It's like they give you athlete's foot or something. Like you're just like, geez, I don't know.
I don't know.
Just
Maybe
gives you a
You
crap.
can try one now and see.
I'll eat one.
All right, so you take over the caramel crusted worms that were all dried up and salted.
Sure.
Abby watches intently.
Roll me a d8.
Oh boy.
Lucifer starts to drool a little bit. He hasn't
A
eaten in a while.
3.
He's just
Oh no.
Oh no.
Okay.
What?
So you kind of eat it. You kind of get a bit of sticky caramel on your fingers. You kind of just try to clean them off on your garments. But every time you do, you leave incredibly indistinguishable, like butter oil soaked stains all over your jacket and your shirt.
Oh,
These like oil stains that you just like can't seem to get out.
okay.
He's become a sticky toddler.
Oh, I kind of just like try to get it off and then I rub it on like Lucy's vest.
And there's two like this handprint of stains just go all over your vest.
Oh. Mm. Moss, come here.
stay away, Moss. Stay as far as you can. Both you furry friends, Moss. Do not-
Yeah.
And feathered. Furry and feathered.
I kind of go with the children. I have 6 pieces left.
Mm-hmm.
How many kids are there?
There's like 10.
Children.
There's like 10.
Not
Yeah.
the children.
Here, children, have some candy.
Then also part of me just like, I could probably do something with these again later.
Hey kids, take candy. from the stranger.
Ooh, okay, no, I'll put it in waffles and just kind of just try to figure out how to get rid of this. Like, how long does this last?
How long does this last? So as
If I
you're
still had my bath water, we could have washed it off. But you know.
No.
That was not good. That was not good water.
No, you
Why
Uh,
wasn't it good water?
you don't
It
wanna
was
use water.
Bev
No, no.
Lorna's water.
Yeah,
It was also like
No,
Arctreon treated.
It was just Bev Lorna's water.
Bev Lorna's water.
Also-
Bev Lorna's water.
Ugly hag water.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, we got Ugly Hag bathwater, Ugly Hag feet. We're gonna start an Ugly
I had
Hags
an ugly hag
fans.
hand, but it was-
only hags.
Hags.
And only hags.
Holy shit.
I'm sure there's a market for that.
Oh my god, no.
Wrangle them in! Bring them back!
no.
So as
real
you start
quick.
to leave Nib's cave, Quincy kind of eat that candy and get the indelible oil stains, like butter stains, into your garments, and it's sort of spreading it over on Lucy's vest. You kind of walk again for another about 2 hours or so, and you have this indelible, like this just like dirty, sticky sort of mess on your fingertips for about 2 hours or so, and then they just kind of like become clean after a while.
All right, cool.
The effect kind of
Word.
wears off. But as you get sort of out of the wooded area here, you start to come out to a clearing in the forest here. And the clearing, it looks like it would look like a group of livable people have kind of made out a space for themselves. There are a few bits of bark and wood that kind of make a kind of an outline for this clearing in the middle of this open wooded area. You see sort of a raised, almost like a raised platform of earth coming out from the ground. Bits of rock and tumbled earth kind of making it go in an upward motion about 20 feet or so. That kind of has this raised stony rock and moss platform with a very noticeable giant tree kind of in the middle of it, with various vines and roots kind of growing off of the base of it down from this hillside, kind of embanked in the middle of this clearing. But as you kind of approach and get up a bit further, you notice that up on the ledge, there's a few children up there, and you start to hear screams coming from the clearing.
Huh?
I run.
This just starts going. You know, I knew I had a sense, a feeling something was weird. Strange. I hope they're fighting. Training to be great warriors.
And if you look at your roll 20 screen here, we got a new
Yes.
map to reveal to you.
Yes.
Okay.
Show us,
Show me the
Grandmaster.
map.
Show us. Oh!
Ooh.
Oh. Cool.
Interesting.
So as you go over to this clearing, an Elkhorn kind of stops. She's like, "Help! Help! Get this thing away from us! Help! The children! No! They found him!" It starts bolting forward towards the clearing. Do you guys follow?
Oh, 1,000%.
Yeah,
Oh
absolutely.
my god, yeah.
Yes.
So
I
as you
got-
get up to the clearing here, you see an entity, a human, a monster. It's hard to tell from this distance as most of the kids are up on this raised sort of earth
Oh.
hillside with this giant tree in the middle of it. And you see in the far off distance this figure that's huge in stature with this sort of brown cloak sort of drifting off of their very giant muscly hide. This thing kind of looks like Bane, but 3 sizes bigger. And you just see this creature. Come back here! Come back here! Starting to slash at the rocks, and you're starting to climb up it.
The children.
All I
We
can
have to
do.
help them.
Monster have to kill the monster.
Can Lucifer pull out his longbow with his brand new braces and go ahead and
Abby,
fire a shot
where's
at
your
it?
monster?
I'm in it.
Okay.
Oh.
All right, I have resin pulled out. I have my spoon pulled out. We're ready to go.
Friend?
Moss is-
Is this a friend?
And as this
Oh.
creature sort of hears you coming up from behind it, turns around, and you're staring at this large, demon-looking giant with
Okay.
the skin being this turquoise blue coloration, muscle fibers kind of exposed and dense, elongated claws with big black markings. The pants at the waist are kind of torn by the ankles, and you see this white hair, long flowing, coming out of the side of the cloaked hood, yellow eyes beaming out, elongated, toothy smile.
Reminds me of my
Smiles
father.
at you. You are staring at what appears to be an Oni.
Ooh.
How do you spell that?
O-N-I.
Oni.
Oh my god. Okay.
From what you guys have sort of heard about these things, they've been known to be called ogre mages. They're told in like children's stories, sometimes referred to as like a fearsome boogeyman in nursery rhymes that haunt the nightmares of children and adults alike. Always hungry, especially like human babies as a delicacy.
Oh.
Thing is just reaching for the raised platform, then looks over at you and starts running towards you all. Elkhorn is back here. I've got the children! I'll to protect the children! I need you all to roll initiative.
Let's go.
Go, baby.
+2 now that I know.
Yes.
Please.
Oh,
Okay, that's
go.
fine. That's fine.
7. Oh wait. 9.
Oh.
Forgot I had a bonus.
Dirty 19 plus. Oh, never mind. I just have a +1 now, so 20.
Ooh.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. Haha.
Okay.
Natural 19. Dirty 20.
All right. So, Archery, what'd you get?
I got 10.
I got 10. Ebby,
10.
9.
9. Lucy,
Dirty 20.
Quincy.
6.
6. Moss.
8.
8.
Okay.
Okay.
We're all grouped together except Lucifer.
Lucy, you're up first, my dude. What would you like to do?
Will the shambling get initiative?
As you all sort of pop out and start to get your ready stance, as Shambling Mound. Friend.
Abby looks over to the others before he answers because he knows he's done this wrong before. Is this a friend?
No.
Oh God, no.
The
Oh no.
No.
Oh God, no!
No,
Nothing that ugly.
So
is a
our
friend.
friends, gestures to that everyone, say that thing isn't a friend.
It looks like my father, so no, it's not a friend.
Oh.
Not
Issues.
at all. And the Shambling
Hit
Mound
it, hit it.
just.
You don't have to fight if you don't want to. Just
Oh,
say
but you could use me, friend.
Ooh.
What?
None of you. This is only Abby hearing this from the stick.
Oh God, no.
I
No.
am chaos.
Would you like it to join your party, my friend? It could be a very useful ally.
What is it?
What is it?
Talking about the Oni.
Sorry, no, I don't hear it.
Oni? You can take control of Onis.
Abby,
No,
why are you
no.
talking to the wand?
And at this point, Lucy, I'll have you go.
Abby, what's happening? Who are you talking? Who are you talking to?
Just give me a quick second. I'm just kind of dying inside. Arborea says that we can own this thing.
Yes, we'll kill it.
Yeah. Oh, we're gonna own it. All right. Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
We're glad we're on the same page. Now put the wand away. As I take mine out.
Okay. Lucifer's not waiting. This thing is running at us. He takes out his
Yeah.
longbow and fire. We're gonna fire 2 shots at its face,
Okay.
Specifically in space.
specifically.
Specifically nice.
Just so when I hit, I'm saying that we're hitting the face.
At 20, both in the eyeballs.
Yeah.
75 feet away. Are you using your?
I sure am, my friend.
Okay.
My range is 150 feet to 600 feet. So.
There you go. Make your shots.
15 plus 4 to hit 19.
19 will definitely hit. Roll damage.
Sweet. D8, here it is. Plus 3 instead of 1. Oh, a 6. Plus 3 is 9.
9
Nice.
points of damage.
Cool.
To the face.
So that was your one attack. You're doing extra attack.
Oh yeah, he's rapidly pulling another arrow out.
All right. So attack again.
He wants to do a Robin Hood straight through the other arrow. Oh, a 12 plus 4 is 16 to hit.
Just hits. Roll damage.
2 plus 3 is a 5.
5. Okay. All right. So as you're all ready to stand, Lucy, you're like, "What are you talking to?" Oh, for fuck's sake! Take out your bracers. Brandish your special metal bow that serves as a double-edged sword. Put your hand back as your bracers glow a bit from that purple effervescence, arcane energy. Hit the Oni right in the chest as the cloak that it's wearing, its tattered robe, falls off to the sides, and you see little horns peeking out from the long wisps of gray hair.
I knew it!
And just pissing it off, basically, as it continues to run forward. After that is Arctreon.
Aha!
Can I teleport somewhere? No. I can only use it once a day, right?
Yes.
Crap.
Well, you haven't used it yet. You could use your bonus action Misty Step if you want.
Now I want to use it on that. So can I just move though?
Oh, definitely you can move.
Great. I just want to start to spread us out. So can I come I have a move of.
So the
30.
ruler on the side of your roll 20 screen, that can show you like the distance of how far you can move.
Great. Can I just move right over here, right behind
sure
this
can.
Green tree,
Yeah.
just to give us some space with everyone? Okay, and I end my turn.
Okay. After that, we go to Archeon. What would you like to do, sir?
Okay, so I'm gonna do two things because now that I'm level 6, I can do it. So
Yes,
not
sir.
only am I going to, I gotta rage.
Rage!
Okay, so I'm gonna rage, and then I'm gonna rage, so I get the wild surge. I roll for wild surge. 3. An intangible spirit, which looks like a flump or a pixie, your choice, obviously flump, appears within 5 feet of one creature of your choice that you can see within 30 feet of you. At the end of the current turn, the spirit explodes, and each creature within 5 feet must make a dexterity saving throw or take 1d6 damage until your rage ends. You can use this effect again, summoning another spirit on each of your turns as a bonus action.
You summon a
so I
little
have just
landmine.
a little
You summoned a landmine flump?
Yes. And then I am also going to use bolstering magic as well. So
Okay.
bolstering magic. So I have 2 options for it, but I'm going to do the first one. For 10 minutes, the creature I can either touch myself or somebody else. The creature can roll a d3 whenever making an attack roll or an ability check and add the number rolled to the d20 on that roll at any time.
Okay.
So I'm going to do the old poke to the old forehead, and I'm going to do that as Schwell. And then I'm just going to move as far as I can move. Which would be... Yeah.
So where is your flump?
So the flump is... Hold on one second. I just want to make sure I'm in the right area here. That's this. Okay, so that's me there. So since I moved there... Oh my god!
You are a giant flump.
Okay. Within 30 feet. So he is right 20 feet from me. So that flump is going to go right next to him. And he must do... At the end of the current turn, the spirit explodes.
So the end of your turn.
Yes. So I can't move anymore. I can't do anything else. So he will explode.
Okay. Do you want to make a save or anything, or?
Yes, you have to make a dex saving throw or take 1d6 force damage. So dex saving.
Dex saving throw. Okay.
Where does it say my dex save for this one?
I got a 16. So if you go to your spells at the top, it should say spell save DC.
Spell save. No. If I go
On
to
the
my
flump
spells-
ability, does it say a spell save DC?
No, it just says must succeed a dexterity saving throw.
Okay. So with your barbarian abilities, there should be a dex save or a DC save because you have spells you can use, right? Or no?
Yeah, do I have to click on the spell?
So you should go like when it says like attack, spell, different columns, right? Like, you know, the tabs, it says like attack,
Yeah.
bonus action, spells. So if
Yeah.
you click spells tab,
Yep.
you have your list there. At the top, it should say a spell save DC somewhere.
Actually, no, it doesn't. I'll be honest.
Hmm.
There's a hit DC
What does that say?
that says Dex. It's just for Hellish Rebuke. It says Dex 12.
So,
Okay, so
your
your dex
DC is
would be
12 then.
Okay.
So I beat 16, so I beat your DC. So
Okay. All right.
I
So you don't
succeeded.
take anything. So you kind of duck and dodge away. Sorry, I don't know why everything is so odd here right now.
it's all good. Okay, yeah. So you rage as your body sort of grows itself and all those muscles kind of protrude out once again. And as you hit the various greenery and the grass, different plants and flowers sort of bloom out with each heavy step that you take. The rest of you just see that weird black energy move around him, and then a flump just appears out of nowhere. This floating jellyfish tentacle entity, and then you see Arcturion go, just floats over to this thing. The Oni just stops. Just giant bomb just goes off near the Oni's face. Then a bunch of dust kicks up, and it just rages out and keeps pressing forward.
And that will be it. So
that'll be it. Okay. After that is the Oni's turn.
Uh-oh.
Let's see here.
It's gonna be fine. Everything's gonna be fine.
Okay, I am going to. Okay. What's that?
Okay, this might have been different number. If the effect requires a saving throw, the DC equals 8 plus your proficiency bonus plus your Constitution modifier.
We'll look at that when we come
Okay,
back.
sorry. I thought the number was different, and I think it might be different.
Yeah, so rushing over.
Constitution and saving throw, or just Constitution straight?
You guys, it's okay. We're just gonna rush past it and just move forward here, just because we're almost at the end of the session here. So
Sorry about
just gonna run up, and he's gonna do 2 glaive hits as he rushes up to you. The arm extends, and this glaive just apparates in its hand. He's gonna attack twice on you there.
Oh, hit me. Sorry. Go ahead.
Why am I rolling so horribly?
You're doing great. We appreciate it.
First one is 14, and the second one is a 12.
As a
Able to
reaction,
just
hellish
duck
rebuke.
and dodge.
Oh no, you missed.
Yeah, I have to hit you for it to work.
Yeah, you missed. That's all right.
Okay. So yeah, it apparates this glaive and hits twice. We're able to just duck out of the way. Does nothing. But we will move on down to Abby.
Welcome to the Hellish Rebuke family.
What?
I was just saying, welcome to the Hellish Rebuke family, Aiden.
Okay, so Hebby just pops himself outside of Arlon, just stands on the ground, and sees this thing, and he's like, and then looks at our wonderful cat friend, who is so close, and just kind of sighs a little bit. But then he just reaches into a pocket and takes out some seeds and throws them, and they land on the ground, causing the ground to shake, as he summons Entangle, and around the Oni.
Okay.
And you need to do an attack save of
Strength save?
Strength 15, yeah.
For strength, right?
Yeah.
14.
You lose. You are now restrained.
Sweet.
Okay. All right, I'll put a.
And it's like the radius is just before our wonderful cat friend for archery.
Oh, okay, so you're doing it away from him. I got it.
Yeah, so
Thank
he
you,
is
thank
not entangled.
Appreciate it.
So the
I was
only kind of
debating.
that explosion comes out. Takes a glaive, 2 attacks, miss. Goes in for a second one. They see vines just break out of the ground, wrap around his hand, wrap around his waist and his arm. Just more vines keep climbing onto him, leaving you just a clear open shot. But the movement is to 0 currently. So good job, Ebby. Anything else?
Abby just smiles like, "Go get him!" It's like, "I'm not using you. I'm not using you yet, Stick."
That's okay. In good time. In good time.
We will find you a body.
Ooh.
And
after
we'll
that,
talk about that later.
we'll come to Moss,
Okay, so
and then
I'm
we'll
gonna
end with
use,
Quincy.
I'm gonna use my movement to go 45 feet, which is my complete movement. I'm gonna make. Oh, cool. I'm gonna make a glaive attack.
Mm-hmm.
And you get advantage because he's restrained.
Needed it. Oh God. Glaive attack. Does an 8 hit?
8 does not hit.
Okay, then I'm gonna do another attack. That's a 17 on the die.
That one will hit.
Cool. I'm gonna spend a key point to add my martial damage as well. I can't think off the top of my head what that's called. No, I was messaging Jordy about that earlier. So that is, let's see, 6, 11, 13 damage, 13 piercing damage.
Ooh. Okay.
And then I want to take a bonus action, unarmed strike on him.
Bonus action arm strike. Okay.
That is a 17 to hit.
17 also hits. Roll damage.
1d6. That's 7 more points of bludgeoning damage.
Okay.
And I believe that's the end of my turn.
All right. So Moss just whipping past forward as Abby's like, I can find you a body. Like, what were you saying? And you just jump forward using all of your cat-like abilities to race up. Up with all of your weapons, just fury of punches and hitting with the glaive and all of in your arsenal as the Oni is still restrained in place, kind of hop over Archeron's body and just go to town. The Oni just getting hit from all directions. And now we end with Quincy.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and run 30 feet ahead. We'll go run 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Quincy's going to pull out his deck of cards. He's going to go and shuffle them. He's going to pull one, and he's going to throw it up in the air. And then as he throws it up in the air, he's going to take his spoon and shoot through it and cast Guiding Bolt and have it shoot through the card and shoot straight at the Oni. So I'm going to cast Guiding Bolt at second level.
Nice.
At the Oni. That'll be an 18 plus 5, 23 to hit.
Did you do twice?
I did twice, yeah.
Okay, I just want to make sure if you crit. That'll definitely hit. Roll damage.
All right, so through the spoon, that's a D8, but that is 5d6. So the D6 is a 6 plus 7, so 13 plus 1 more D8 plus another 3, so 16 plus the D8. So 19 radiant damage.
Goodness gracious.
And then whoever hits it next will get advantage. But I'm going to go ahead and utilize that because I'm going to pull out Coco and shoot him with that. So that is with advantage. That's not worse. 13 to hit.
I'll miss.
That'll miss. That goes wide. But it works for me. That's my turn.
Woo. So as everyone starts to pound out this goddamn Oni, all from sides, Quincy, you run up, throw that card in the air. Guiding Bolt rages through your arcane hands, singeing through the card as the middle part just becomes a light orange with smoke coming out of it before it floats to the ground. You try to follow it up with your Reggie, with the Griffin construct, shoot wide, but the Guiding Bolt was a pretty massive hit. So as you go to shoot with the Griffin, it goes off to the side. It hitting the Oni bear right in the chest. And the surging, burning sensation emanates into the Oni's chest. And for a split second, you see the Oni's face change. Manipulation of the dark, hardened skin, the blue turquoise coloration, the beady eyes change for just a split second as you see just the frame of the face turn into that of a young boy.
Huh?
But it's
Will?
there, everyone, that we gotta end the stream.
Oh,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
Of course.
Oh my
Wait, does he
gosh.
respond to Will?
We gotta end the stream there, everybody. It's about that time.
Fine.
But thank you all so much for coming back after our little hiatus there. We love hanging out with you on these hilarious Tuesday nights. Thank you so much to my players once again for making this such a great experience every time we get together and get to tell hilarious, fun, wacky stories. Hopefully come back in not next Tuesday, the Tuesday after, or hopefully we'll be able to play over again because I'm not sick anymore. So fuck it, we're doing it. But we are getting into the last sort of act of our Witchlight story as well, going into Yon and hopefully reach the Palace of Desire. So you were going to want to stick around for these last few sessions as they are going to be pretty epic. But thank you for everyone for coming. Have a great night. Enjoy the rest of your week. Stay safe. Wash your hands. Roll some goddamn dice, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.